don't even get me started on the weird noises the characters make when they get hurt. The DS only had a D-pad instead of a joystick, so a lot of 3D games felt a little imprecise, but thankfully this game knew what it was capable of, and it honestly controls pretty well. Keep smacking her over and over again until you win. There is no strategy here whatsoever. If only that worked back when I did karate. Ow. When you get back, though, we find Squidward running in fear because his clarinet was stolen by a giant jellyfish that Plankton made. I thought Plankton was the bad guy. Why is he doing a good thing? Atlantic Scorpantis is a charming enough little time. It's no masterpiece, but as far as licensed games go, it's pretty solid. If you're a massive SpongeBob fan, I can see you having a decent time with it, but it's certainly not a must-play. I'm sure it's one of the better SpongeBob games out there, but I can't really say for certain. There's way too many of them, and I do not have time to play them all. It's usually not the best idea to consume every single piece of media that's based on a source material that you really like. I mean, if you want proof, just look at how many things we have based on the Bible. Yikes. Terror begins to fill the sky. The cold sweeps through the air like a snake covered in grease. Restless spirits wander among the living. Vicious monsters roam the land. The streets are filled with screams of terror and giggles of children receiving candy in exchange for wearing weird outfits. Halloween has returned. Hello, human beings. Power Gamer here. You're probably wondering how I got in this mess. Simple. I got really drunk last night. But anyways, I've encountered many a foe on Hallows Eve. Aliens probing my brain, ghosts trying to escape captivity, and even a castle attempting to end my life. But I've grown tough from these experiences, so I decided to use that knowledge to my advantage and take up the life of a detective. Plus, I hear those gigs pray pretty well, and it looks like I picked a good time to take up the mantle, as for the past month, many faces have begun to vanish, and most of these are names I couldn't care less about, but there's one that grabbed my attention. My old pal, Zev Grev. With the situation now affecting me personally, I knew I had to figure out what was going on here. I went to his house to look for clues, but all I could find was an old gum wrapper. It's clear that if I want to find my friend, I'm gonna have to venture out farther than I've ever been before. If I'm going to find this guy, we're gonna need to head into the city. But of course, a good detective knows how to keep themselves alert, and what better way to do that than by playing a video game to assist me and improve my deduction skills. And I think I know just the one. Using these special sunglasses that allow me to connect to my PS4 from anywhere, I can solve this case while playing one of the most critically acclaimed cult classic video games of all time. Grim Fandango. If I'm gonna solve this case, I'm gonna need all the help I can get. I've been wanting to try this game out for a while, so let's hope it'll help me find those poor missing people, because if it doesn't, how the hell am I gonna get paid? Whatever. While I investigate these crimes, let's uncover another mystery in the land of the dead. The story of Grim Fandango is easily one of the strongest aspects of it. It's a very engaging tale filled with many twists and turns that you really want to see more of. All of the characters are interesting and likable, and it's told to you in a very unique fashion. The game is split up into 4 sequences over the course of 4 years, each one taking place on La Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. But one day, deceased souls are able to return to the land of the living and visit their families. The time jumps allow for a unique form of storytelling and a large variety of locations you can visit. The game also has some stellar writing. After all, it was made by LucasArts, a company known for having comedic tones in their video games. And while this title is one of their few that's taken pretty seriously, that doesn't mean it can't include some of that great LucasArts humor.
Sorry, Bruno, but you didn't qualify for anything better. But here, have this complimentary mug.
Why can't you hit customers anymore? Exactly. It makes no sense.
Just give me a minute to get ready.
Okay, but if you hear a loud explosion anytime soon, the trip's off.
But Manny's not the only one with a case to solve. There's people missing in this city, and I gotta find them. But why would so many people just vanish like that? Who could orchestrate this whole thing? There's only 2 groups of people in the world who can manage something like that. The Mafia, which went extinct in this town 30 years ago, or the absurdly rich. And there's no one in this town richer than the founder and CEO of the bread company, Lawrence Clark.
Well, hello there, good sir. They call you Power Gamer 310, correct?
Yes, but Aiden is fine, Lawrence.
I prefer Mr. Clark.
Yeah, sure, Lawrence. I see you shaved that mustache.
Yes, that was not my best look, admittedly. Would you care for a pretzel?
Oh, yes, thank you.
So, what brings you to the head of the bread company on this fine day?
Well, you see, Lawrence.
It's Mr. Clark.
Mr. Clark, you might have noticed that several people around town have gone missing lately.
No, not really. I have a lot of workers to look after.
Well, one of those people might interest you. Our old pal, Zeb Grev.
Zev?
We played Super Smash Brothers with him. We went to his Christmas party last year. He was on that game show, Cliche Phrases.
Oh, yeah! Now I remember. Oh, God, I love that show. Shame it got canceled after 58 seasons.
Well, I was wondering when you last saw him.
Last I recall was about a month ago when he needed a new loaf of bread for a grilled cheese sandwich he was making.
Anything else?
No, just your standard grilled cheese affair. He probably had some tomato soup with it.
And what kind of bread did he buy?
Oh, just normal white bread.
Are you sure it hadn't been tampered with or contaminated, perhaps?
What are you saying?
Well, the bread company has had its fair share of faulty shipments in the past. I should know. I spent my life savings on marshmallow fluff because of one.
Are you saying I'm the reason these people are missing?
That certainly isn't out of the realm of possibilities.
I am way too busy running a company of this magnitude to waste my time running around kidnapping the little people. What would I even do with them? What benefit would I get out of that?
That's exactly what I'm trying to figure out.
Well, I can tell you now, I have absolutely nothing to do with this. Now, if you would be so kind, please leave. I have some very important business I need to attend to.
Oh, very well. I think I've gathered all the information I need. Thank you for your time, and the pretzel as well, Lawrence.
That's Mr. Clark!
Yeah, sure, whatever. Bye. Well, that may have been a dead end, but Lawrence isn't exactly off the hook just yet. If I'm gonna get anywhere, though, my search is gonna have to go elsewhere. In the meantime, let's get back to the game. There's no telling what kind of objects you'll find along your path, but I'll tell you, they all come in handy at least once. That gives me an idea. I should scope out the area and look for clues. As I stroll up and down the street of this here city, I see a vast assortment of rubbish, trash, leaves, and dirt line these roads more than the buildings, and yet nothing seems to give me any clues about the missing people. But wait, what's this? Another stray gum wrapper, just like the one at Zev's house. What are the chances of finding two of these in unrelated places? Well, honestly pretty likely, but I feel like there's a connection here. Gum ain't exactly something people just hand out willy-nilly. You gotta go through a lot to get your hands on it. And what kind of people would go through all that trouble? Those that have nowhere else to go, and nothing to lose. The writing is easily what makes this game interesting for me, but the main bulk is, of course, solving the puzzles. And this is where we run into the biggest problem. I am really, really bad at point-and-click games. These types of things are ones that really make you need to think, since, well, that's basically all the gameplay there is. And I admit, it can be very satisfying to figure some of this stuff out. Very satisfying indeed. But it's easier to get stumped in these types of games than it is to lose a penny in the ocean. There's all kinds of places to explore and stuff to grab, and while some of it is fairly easy to guess, many of these things can be very, and I mean very confusing. Doesn't help that this game is really picky with where you need to stand in order to activate certain things. In some puzzles, you have to do the same action multiple times in a row, so you need to be stubborn to get through some parts, but not too stubborn, or you just end up wasting your precious time. And speaking of precious time, I gotta get a move on. There's many things that could cause someone to hit rock bottom and take up gum smuggling. A loved one leaving you, house destruction from a hurricane, or losing your job because the company went out of business, like what happened to the Smash Bros. Agency. Evening, Vanessa.
What do you want?
Seems like you've fallen on some hard times.
Yeah, so what?
Well, it's just that people who fall on hard times tend to turn to less than ideal methods to get by.
Are you accusing me of something?
Can't say I am, can't say I ain't. What do you think I would be accusing you of, perhaps?
I don't know, that's why I'm asking.
Listen here, Vanessa Toll. There's a lot of people in this town going missing, and the only thing I have connecting them together is some stray gum wrappers. Gum is quite the hot commodity in this area, and not everyone can get their hands on it.
So what does that have to do with me?
Well, I know you lost your job, and by the looks of it, you're at home. And people on hard times tend to turn to desperate masters. I'm not saying you're a gum smuggler, but if you've been on the street for this long, you've probably definitely seen some of it going around. Am I wrong?
All I know is that gum has been turning up more and more often, and that people have been missing.
Do you know who's giving this gum out?
I've heard someone say the bronze turkey, but that's all I know. I haven't gone near it.
Bronze Turkey. Sounds to me like the name of a gang leader. Well, thank you, Miss Toll. Be on my way. And by the way, if you're looking for another job, I hear the post office is always hiring. So we snatch up some pigeon eggs on the roof because even in death you can't escape these rats, and make an imprint of Manny's teeth to allow for computer access, even when he's not there. I don't know who the bronze turkey is, but if I want to find out, I'm gonna need to go deeper. Gotta find someone who knows all about this land of crime, and the only place I can do that is in the bakehouse. I think it's time I pay a visit to an old friend.
Well, I'll be.
Long time no see, eh, buddy?
Yeah, I don't get visitors that often. What brings you here?
I need some information. You see, people have been going missing in this town, and I thought maybe you could help me find them.
How so?
Well, being a man on the wrong side of the law, you must know a thing or two about how the crime world works.
Well, what's in it for me if I help you?
I'll put in a good word for you at your next parole meeting.
I don't get parole.
You don't?
You don't know what they do to jaywalkers in here, man. It's some serious stuff.
Right. Well, how about I promise to come visit you at Thanksgiving?
Deal, ask away.
First off, what do you know about getting gum around here?
Well, I know people pay a pretty penny to get it.
And how would one get it?
You just gotta know the right people.
Word on the street is that one of those people is the Bronze Turkey. A man with that much of that good stuff could run this town from the shadows and easily take care of anyone, just like that. Do you know where I could find him?
Wow, you are an idiot.
Huh?
The Bronze Turkey ain't a gang leader. It's a restaurant. Home to one of the finest chefs the city's ever seen. His name is Mac-A-Roni.
Mac-A-Roni. Maybe he has some connection to this whole thing. I guess I'll have to pay him a visit. Thanks for your help, Rob.
It's Bob.
Yeah, that's what I said. Bye, Rick. There's a cop on Hot Streak in Mandy's club, a guy named Charlie who can make you a counterfeit union card if you bring him some money, finding out Glottis is a gambling addict, going into the VIP lounge run by this big shot named Maximino, learning his girlfriend, Olivia, who owns another club, is cheating on him with a sleazy lawyer thanks to his girlfriend, Lola, Mandy discovering Don's been sprouted, seeing Lola get sprouted, a group of worker bees trying to start their own revolution, which gets one of them arrested, blackmailing the lawyer with photos of him and Olivia, Naranja getting tattoos, a wine vault, a morgue, security guard. This city's got more stories going on than the dirtiest places in New York. But while they head to their destination, I should finally reach mine. The Bronze Turkey is more grand than I imagine, and I'm sure old Mac would love it if I dropped by. Well, would you look at that? Hello, sir. You wouldn't happen to work at this fine establishment, would you?
I sure do. Chef Mac-A-Roni at your service.
Yes, that's nice.
So, what kind of food are you in the mood for?
Actually, I'm not here to eat. I'm here to search. I need answers.
Sorry, don't know how to cook that.
Well, do you know anything about gum?
Gum? That's not a food. You can't eat that. I assure you, not one single speck of gum in my restaurant.
Is that so, Mr. Aroni? Because, word on the street here is that this is the best place to find gum.
What? Why do you even want to know about that?
Because several people in this city have gone missing, and the only thing I have connecting them together is gum. So do you know anything about it, or not?
Look, pal, gum, it's not allowed within a 2-mile radius of this place. If people were coming in with gum, I would know.
Well, do you know anything about people disappearing?
Did hear some people went to the woods and never came back, but that's about it.
Of course, the woods. You always gotta check the woods. Well, thank you, good sir. You've been of great assistance.
Glad I could help.
I don't know if I can fully trust that chef there, but so far this gum search has been leading me nowhere. Maybe it is just a coincidence. Regardless, the woods sound like a great place to search, so I better head that way now. This in turn leads us to the dumbest part of the game. You gotta bust open this part and then use the door to twist the tumblers. And this game right here says nothing about which way these little suckers are supposed to be facing. Not to mention if you try and open it, it screws them all up and you have to do it again, because for some reason, you need to put your scythe in between them and then open the door. What kind of no-brain, good-for-nothing scumbag came up with that? This is one of the darkest and grimiest areas in the whole city, a place where all kinds of shady deals end up taking place. As I scope around, I see all kinds of muck and scum, but despite that, there doesn't seem to be any evidence of kidnapping or gum deals going on anywhere. Wait a minute. What's this? Do my eyes deceive me, or is that an unusually large barrel? But what could possibly be inside? Only one way to find out. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. This baby's filled to the brim with gum! How on earth did someone get their hands on this haul? And more importantly, who did it? What's this? Some kind of weird stone totem and A list. Wait a minute, this list has all the people that went missing, and it says they all worked at the Gum Factory. The Gum Factory burned down 10 years ago. That's why they all went missing. There was a reason that place burned down, and it looks like the culprit is trying to cover their tracks. This idol thing has gotta mean something, but what? Only one way to find out. Gum Factory, here I come. Thanks to Gladys' stomach acid, we managed to disarm the trap and return to El Mara, which Hector has transformed into Vegas for the dead, only somehow it smells less like death. We shoot this tank outside, which causes the greenhouse to go haywire, and Hector is finally sprouted like the low-life scumbag good-for-nothing bastard he is. And here we are, the remnants of the old Gum Factory. What a tragedy it was losing this place. Wait a minute, what's that? Well, 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 looks like we got some old friends. Freeze, miscreants! Lawrence and Mac working together. I knew you two were behind this.
What are you talking about?
Isn't it obvious? You're the one who burned down the Gum Factory so that your biggest competition would be out of the way. Then, for some extra change, you smuggle the gum and start selling it on the black market with the help of Mac. And when all the former employees start talking, you kidnap them to make them go quiet.
You unbelievable moron!
Who you calling a moron?
You! I thought that was obvious.
That seems pretty obvious to me.
Well, how so am I a moron?
I didn't burn down the Gum Factory. The original owner, Terrence Bubble, did as part of an insurance scam. Only problem is he forgot to leave when he did it, so he perished in the flames.
Well, then why did I find a big barrel full of gum in the middle of the woods?
What if there was a gift for you? You were the Bronze Turkey's 1,000th customer.
But I didn't get anything.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Well, if you weren't smuggling gum and kidnapping people, then what are you doing here?
I was looking to purchase this area for our brand new office building. Ever since the bread company started purchasing pretzels, our profits have gone up tenfold! I'm sorry, I just got excited about my profits.
And what's the scythe for?
Oh, this? Gift from my grandfather. They say it can kill restless spirits.
Oh, great, this whole gum chase was just a complete waste of time. Now I'm back to square one, and the only thing I have is this weird stone totem thing. What the?
Ah! That totem contains the spirit of Terrence Bubble!
So that's why it was in the gum.
So you brought some friends.
Wait a minute. Those are the missing people! They weren't kidnapped, they were killed by a vengeful spirit!
Yes, that's
No, he's getting the spirit so that he can grow his power and take revenge on the rest of the world!
Well, not if we have anything to say about it. Get him, Mac!
Here. Take this.
What was that?
Told me to get him.
I meant use the scythe!
I don't want to get it dirty. It's a family heirloom.
Well, it's either that or we die.
I don't know. I feel like there's probably a third, fourth, maybe even a fifth option.
Oh, just give me that!
Well, that was anticlimactic.
Yeah, why do they always go down in like one hit?
Beats me. And on the bright side, looks like those spirits can finally rest. So, I guess this means the case is closed. Thanks, boys, and sorry for accusing you about all that stuff.
Ah, don't worry about it. My opinion of you is so bad, it literally cannot go any lower.
There's just one thing that doesn't add up. Zev never worked at the Gum Factory, and I didn't see his spirit in there, so where is he?
Try calling him?
Can I borrow your phone?
Yeah, sure, why not? You're probably too dumb to scam me.
Hello?
Hey, Zev, it's Aiden. Just wondering, where are you?
I'm at my family reunion in Alaska. Why?
Oh, no reason. Bye. Well, that would have been good to know earlier. Grim Fandango is one of the finest works I've ever seen, but not the type of game everyone can get into. Its gameplay is very simple, and can be pretty taxing to figure out, but there is a great deal of enjoyment to be found in that, and the story, writing, and characters are among the best that have ever been created for the world of video games. I don't know if it's something everyone should play, however I do know it is something that everyone should admire. It might not be one of my favorite games of all time, but it is one I will never forget. And as I look out at the area around me, I reflect on everything I've seen. Halloween is one of the strangest holidays around, and I can add vengeful spirits to my list of weird monsters I've had to fight, but regardless, it's over, and now those poor innocent souls can rest, as the living can enjoy their holiday once more. This was an adventure like no other I've had before, but as I look out in front of me and gaze at the dark sky, I realize this whole thing taught me a very valuable lesson. I am a really bad detective.
Well, folks, the results of this year's election are in. And, in a stunning turn of events, for the first time ever in the history of our country, the winner is unanimous. Yes, that's right, at least 90% of the country voted, and every single one was for the same candidate, which, as you've all guessed, is none other than Jerry the Rock. Congratulations, Jerry. I know for a fact you'll be able to lead this country well.
Yes! Woo! Oh, hello human beings, Power Gamer here. Sorry, just celebrating the victory of my beloved pet Rock. I knew you had it in you, Jerry, and I'm glad I could support you all the way. But enough politics, we have more important things to discuss. Like, what was up with that one time Nintendo decided to release 2 Zelda games instead of just 1? The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Ages, and Seasons 2, I guess. Link saves the Maku tree and returns to the present where she falls in love with him. I mean, I've heard of a tree hugger before, but this is a bit too far. At first, you only have the Echo Tomb, which activates these time pools, letting you shift back and forth, but you later unlock the Currents Tomb, which lets you warp to the future instantly and return to the past in the spot you left off on, much like the mirror in the Dark World, and the Tune of Time, which lets you warp anywhere you want, making the other 2 obsolete. Sorry, boys, in you go with the other basic songs. The mini-boss is this ghost, you just need Slash, we get the Power Bracelet, and the boss is this guy with a pumpkin head. Let me look up what his name is, hang on. Oh, Pumpkinhead. Well, I guess that is accurate, but yeah, it feels kind of mean. That's like calling an amputee Pipe Arm, or calling me Sponge Brain. After that, we find the next dungeon, but accidentally destroy it, so we go to Nehru's house, where we poke around her private area, and find the Harp of Ages. And I'm just glad we didn't find her, question marks. It spins around and you have to throw bombs into it, but you can only hurt him when the red face is showing, and the timing is so picky it makes me want to slam my head through the frickin' floor. I am not joking when I say I died in this dungeon 12 times. And this isn't even the worst one! This part sucks. It's insanely tedious having to run around the entire island, and you need to swap some of your items with this guy, so this whole thing takes forever. I was seriously doing this crap for like an hour. But on the bright side, I can take out my aggression on these cuckoos. Oh god, I have needed this. You're gonna suffer even more than me, you little... Oh no, come on, no! Ticket Swarm! Ah!
Death by poultry.
So we take the nut from this guy, learn the Currents tune, and go through a really annoying mountain climbing sequence to find this guy named Patch, who requires us to play this weird mini-game in order to fix the nut where you knock enemies into a hole without letting this cart hit it. That'd be like if your phone stopped working, so you go into the store, but the only way the employees can fix it is if you balance on a ball and do the Macarena for a solid minute while they shoot lemons at you and you're blindfolded. And if you fall off, you have to start over, and it costs twice as much. But the worst part of the dungeon is the boss, Smog. This thing is horrible. It splits itself into multiple clouds and you have to use the cane to push them back together to hurt it. Problem is the timing is really hard to nail. If you screw it up, you have to reset it with this button that costs hearts, and the pattern is ridiculous and nearly impossible to figure out. No joke, I spent 40 freaking minutes on this oversized fart cloud. Come on, I'm in the last phase. Just please. Oh, shit! Wait, oh, right, that's still broken. But if you're interested, I guess I can recommend it, though, like other early Zelda games, I wouldn't say it's mandatory. I guess all I can do is hope Oracle of Seasons will be better. That's all you can really do sometimes, just look forward to the future and hope it's an improvement. Just like America will be doing with what is sure to be the greatest president in the history of our country.
This just in, it appears the election results were not entirely accurate. After the other presidents demanded a recount, we found a whopping 500 ballots hidden inside a bag of fertilizer. After counting them, we realized that they were all also for Jerry the Rock, proving once again that he is the only president to win unanimously. That proves that he's the right man for the job.
Phew. Okay. False alarm. I knew America wouldn't let me down. Right, Tell Human Beings, Power Gamer here, and you already know what we're doing. The Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons. I already explained this last time, so I'm not gonna repeat myself. It starts with you lighting these torches, so this guy gives you a Cuckoo Dex, which you then bring to Malon in exchange for a long egg. No, I have more important things to do. Yeah, what the hell? You're not gonna get me this time, you annoying little... Oh no, give me a break! Chicken Swarm! Ah!
Death by poultry.
Still does more damage and has the sword beam, which I did mention last time, as I will now show here. Killing him gives us the nurturing warmth. Now, trust me, there are many things you could use to describe this game, but nurturing ain't one of them. This process is almost as bad as the Onyx fight. I mean, the first phase is a joke. They fly in circles shooting fire and ice at you, and like an Ocarina of Time, you knock one witch's shot into the other one. But it's nearly impossible to aim. Thing is, they don't go to the edge, and you only need to hit them 3 times. They share a health bar, so just stand in the corner slashing until you eventually hit them. But then they fuse together, and this is where the garbage starts. The room is filled with either fire or ice, and you slash them until they change color and then hit them with sense seeds. The ice attacks are easy to avoid, though the physics still suck, but the fire attacks are really fast and can knock you back into lava, because of course. Again, this wouldn't be so hard if it was ever how easy your health is drained. Eventually you kill them, but they use their own essence to bring back in this kind of half form where he just goes nuts. You gotta use spin attacks while avoiding slashes, orbs, a giant blast, and the controls being reversed. There is no recovery in between these 3 fights, and if you die, you have to start all over. Again, I spent an hour on this garbage. Jesus Christ, why can't this game just end already? I'm not having fun anymore. This sucks and I want to be fucking done. Stupid broken rage meter. Come on, please, just die already. Die already, you stupid. Yes, I'm free. I know I'm clearly really bad at 2D Zelda games, but even still, I found these games to be even more difficult than Zelda 1. There's some really cool concepts in both of these games, but between the really annoying dungeons and ages and the really frustrating boss fights and seasons, I don't think I can fully recommend them. Again, maybe you'll see more value in these games than I do, but as it stands, I don't think you're really missing much by skipping on the Oracle Zelda titles. I think I'm starting to see why Zelda never attempted a dual release like this again. After all, if you try and cook 2 dishes at the same time, they're probably not going to come out exactly as you wanted. These were supposed to be omelets. Hello, human beings. Power Hammer here. I know you're expecting me to be my usual chipper, happy self, but I'm afraid we're going to have to be serious, because tonight is a very special episode. Feel free to watch this with a parent or a loved one and discuss the topics that we'll be showcasing today. Ready? Okay. Tonight we're going to be talking about drugs. There are many drugs that can cause severe harm to one's body. Alcohol weakens your liver, tobacco gives you cancer, marijuana either makes you the life of the party or spill your deepest desires, neither of which are preferable, but none of these compare to a new drug that is making its way around. The Fuzzy. The Fuzzy is a rare material that simply by making contact with the user can warp one's sense of reality to an alarming degree. Your depth perception becomes foggy, the colors begin to swirl, and for some reason everything around you looks incredibly delicious. As an example of what the Fuzzy can do to you, take a look at this young fellow right here. His name is Yoshi, and he made his big screen debut in the iconic classic Super Mario World. He was such a fan favorite that he received the starring role in one of the most acclaimed 2D platformers ever created, but in this platformer, he would be exposed to the Fuzzy. And his life has never been the same since. I mean, just look at what happened to him now. Tragic. It opens with a stork flying through the air holding 2 babies to be delivered to their parents, but out of nowhere, a Magic Koopa named Kamek attacks the stork and kidnaps one of the babies, with the other one falling to the island below onto an oblivious Yoshi. Miraculously, the baby who's revealed to be Mario survives the fall, because remember, fall damage didn't exist until Super Mario 64. Oh, wait, no, it was in Donkey Kong. God, this timeline's weird. And if you know anything about this game, you know that during development, testers would ignore Baby Mario when he went flying away, so the team deliberately made him cry as loudly and annoyingly as possible so that grabbing him is always your top priority. But what was that I said about a roulette wheel? Well, each level ends with you jumping into this hoop and passing on the eggs and Baby Mario to the next Yoshi in line, because there's only so much of that crying one dinosaur can take. And thanks to that disappointingly expensive chip in the cartridge, they were able to do some really cool things, like have much more depth for rotating platforms make things literally come flying at the screen towards you, and probably the most famous, getting Yoshi high. Yeah, a few levels have these fuzzies in them, and the more you touch, the more warped the level becomes and the harder it is to control, so be careful. Yoshi's Island is a really solid game. I don't think I quite love it as much as most people do, but that might just be a me thing. I can still highly recommend it, as it's got some cool levels and boss fights, fun gameplay mechanics, and it's just an overall good time. And it's a great way to prepare you for parenthood, as it only takes one playthrough for Baby Mario's crying to be permanently seared into your subconscious. Thus, when your actual baby starts crying, it won't make any difference whatsoever. Hello, human beings. Power Gamer here. I assume you're all wondering why I gathered you here today.
You bored?
You're sick?
You're lonely.
No, and no. It's that special time of year again, Christmas. And I wanted to shake things up a bit by getting really in touch with Christmas's roots. I mean, think about it. What is this holiday really all about?
Being with friends?
Giving to others?
Profiting the 1%.
No, and, well, yes, but no. It's about the religious teachings of the big man himself, Jesus Christ. I feel like people have been losing sight of that in recent years, so I was hoping we could help bring Christmas back to its roots.
I don't know, I just have some important business to attend to.
I don't know, I'm just trying to cure my narcolepsy.
Come on, I spent a lot of money renting out the shack. Can you throw me a bone? Perfect, thanks. Now, please feel free to get comfortable and join me in what is the most important value of religion. Killing demons.
What?
Well, yeah, the most important part of following the right path is by not following the wrong one. And of course, the easiest way to do that is by destroying those who do follow the wrong path.
I don't think that's how that works.
Well, I disagree, and I'll prove it to you by showing off one of the most popular methods of killing demons. Electronically.
Oh no, not again!
The game was so successful that it got 2 sequels, a sequel/side game, a reboot, which also got a sequel, and it was ported to several other platforms. It's been released on just about every computer system after 1993, but it also released for the SNES, the Sega 32X, the Atari Jaguar, the 3DO, the PlayStation, the Sega Saturn, the Game Boy Advance, the Xbox, Xbox 360, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PS3, PS4, PS5, Switch, Android, iOS, Ouya, calculators, cash registers, pregnancy tests, microwaves, kiosks, washing machines, Fitbits, cars, gas pumps, thermometers, lamps, ovens, tables, shoes, LCD toys, pedometers. Doom might have the record for the most device ports of any game ever. Hell, I think it's a challenge for programmers to see what they can make a Doom run on, because I only made up about half of those, and I guarantee someone will make them work in the future.
Cute story, but why do we need to be here for that?
Because I need to show you guys what to do in case of an emergency. You never know when an army of demons might show up.
Do you think that's actually gonna happen?
You'd be surprised how often stuff like this happens to me. I got the game loaded up on my Switch right here, so I'm just gonna...
You okay?
Yeah, sorry, my chair's just been doing that lately.
That thing looks like it should be in a dumpster. How old is it?
No idea, it came with the box.
What
box?
You don't want to know.
There's also some backstory about him being stationed on Mars for assaulting an officer and something about his pet rabbit, Daisy, but honestly, who really cares? You're here to blast some demons, not be told a crazy story.
I'm here for that.
No, you're not, you're lying and you know it. And most importantly of all, the best one in the game, and arguably the strongest and most iconic weapon in video game history, the BFG, which stands for Bioforce Gun. Yeah, we all know what it really stands for. The pistol immediately becomes obsolete, the chain gun is helpful, but it eats ammo really fast, and the rocket launcher honestly ended up getting me killed more often than actually helping.
That sounds more like a you problem.
I like to see you handle a rocket launcher, wise guy.
Well, why don't you give me one?
Well, I would, but the RPG I ordered only came with one shot and I had to use it on the Alien King.
The what?
It was a thing, don't worry about it.
Why do you hang out with this guy?
The modern versions also let you use cheat codes with ease, like God Mode, which makes you completely invincible, and getting everything you need instantly, but I'm not using those because that's just way too easy.
If it makes you better at killing demons, why not use it?
It's a matter of principle.
Besides, it's not like you can go God mode in real life.
Yeah, sure.
This is ridiculous. How long is this going to take?
I guess about 10 or 11 minutes, minus all the interruptions.
I think we're starting to pass that mark.
Yeah, I'm really getting hungry.
Well, does anyone have any food? That isn't packing peanuts? Delivery it is.
Thank you for choosing the bronze turkey. What can I cook for you?
Oh, you cooked the food for us here?
No, I make it in the kitchen.
Then why are you here?
I think I got confused with the delivery guy.
Oh, come on!
Well, at least we have an extra pair of ears, so go sit over there while I talk about Doom.
Okay.
Well, that was a bust, but at least now... at least now we can continue. Honestly, part of me now wants to see a short film based on Doom where the main character shoots a bunch of demons for the first 5 minutes and then spends the rest of it trying to find the door.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah, but hey, it'd be better than the actual Doom movie we got.
Yeah, true.
Well, now that you guys all know how the game works, I think it's time I put you to the test.
Oh no, I'm not going anywhere near that. There is no way I can do this by myself.
You don't have to. This game has a multiplayer mode that lets you either play in co-op or participate in a deathmatch.
Now you have my attention.
How about we start with the co-op? Yes, very simple. 5 minutes later. You know, why don't I just go through the levels? And that takes care of that. You guys think you're ready now?
Nope.
Well, then I'm just gonna have to start over.
Why do we need to know any of this?
I told you, in case there's a demon invasion. I mean, you of all people should remember what happened on Halloween, right?
Okay, fair, but just because some spirits killed a bunch of people doesn't mean a bunch of demons are gonna show up.
It doesn't matter, because this is a tradition, and tradition is what Christmas is all about. Mac, what are you eating?
Oh, just some toast to calm my nerves before we summon the demons.
Summon the demons?
Yeah, I thought that was the whole reason why we were here.
What? No! We're supposed to fight the demons in case they show up. We're not willingly summoning them.
For the last time, demons are not going to show up.
Good, you had me worried for a minute with the toast and all.
Yeah, that's some good quality bread you got there. You really wouldn't want to waste that.
Well, they only use toast to summon demons on Christmas Eve.
How the hell does that work?
Well, you spin around in a circle and throw the toast on the ground and summon the demons.
That is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. And I have heard this guy on 2 separate occasions try to justify breaking into my home to play Smash Brothers.
Well, I read it in a magazine once.
Okay, that's it. For the last time, I am going to prove that demons are not real.
Stella, no, don't!
See, nothing.
Oh right, I forgot, you also have to step on it.
Well, where'd it go? We gotta find it. Oh, come on!
Well, I messed up.
Okay, this is bad.
What do we do?
Don't look at me, I have no idea!
You're the demon expert!
No, I'm not! I was just trying to have some fun on Christmas Eve, and now the world's gonna end!
So you just had to tempt fate.
You're the one who stepped on it!
But you're the one who threw it on the ground.
He told me to!
No, I didn't. Besides, Mac brought the toast.
Well, if he didn't bring us here, none of this would have happened!
Hey, don't go pinning this all on me, Dr. Non-Belief!
Can we please stop yelling?
He's right. This is all our faults.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Me too. It's just, I felt like I wasn't celebrating Christmas right these past several years, and I was hoping you guys could maybe help me with that.
Hey, I don't mean to interrupt this lovely, happy apology, but there are a bunch of demons who are trying to kill us all, people!
Right. The way I see it, we got 2 options. We can either cower in here until they break in and get us, or we can show those demons what for. We're just gonna need some weapons.
Say no more.
Do you have any?
Sweetheart, I'm a rich CEO. Do you really think I wouldn't have a secret, amazing weapons vault in my house?
Now we're talking.
In here, we've got a tricked out M4 AEG with semi-automatic firing, 2 M9 pistols upgraded with double firing force, and an M36 laser blaster made entirely out of a Nerf gun.
Hey, I have one of those.
Yes, they were all the rage last summer.
But wait, there's only 4. One of us still needs something.
No need. I got my trusty frying pan.
But wait, what about that scythe you had with you?
Yeah, I had to sell it. My house burned down for some jerk left a pot of tortellini on.
Strange. But, whatever. Now we have everything we need, so it looks like we should all be good to go. Well, he's preoccupied, but whatever. You guys ready?
No.
Well, neither am I, but we have no other choice, so let's do this.
There's too many of them!
Oh, it can't end like this! I still have more profits to make!
Do we have any more options? Didn't want to have to come to this, but looks like I'm going God mode.
No need.
Zap, you're awake!
Yep, I'm ready to end this.
What was that?
An anti-demonic satellite that can reverse the polarity and send them back to hell.
And you didn't do this earlier. Why?
I needed a nap.
Where did you even get the... You know what? I don't care. The demons are gone. That's all that matters.
Not quite. Look.
Why is it still there?
It won't close for good unless we seal it with something.
Well, where are we going to find something big enough to fit? Something right here. Oh, no, come on, please! Alright, fine.
1, 2, 3! Well, that's not getting out of there.
Yeah, it's all taken care of.
All's well that ends well.
Yeah, sorry for ripping you guys into all this, but hey, on the bright side, we saved the world after almost dooming it, but yeah, I think that cancels out. Either way, I think we can agree this is a Christmas we're never gonna forget.
No matter how much we want to.
Well, the demons are gone, and I guess there's nothing else to do, so, bye guys.
I gotta get this place cleaned up.
I got a company to run.
Oh God, I forgot I was working tonight. Oh, wait, never mind. We're closed. Doesn't matter.
I need extensive therapy.
Christmas is such a special time of year. I mean, it's crazy to think about the different traditions it's led to over the past thousands of years or so. I mean, some are celebrated by only a small people, but they last a lifetime. Others are a staple of the holiday for everyone, but only for a couple of years or so. But whatever traditions you have, I hope they bring you joy. Merry Christmas, everybody. And wait, huh? Is this the gift I'm getting this year? Just like the old one. Why does the thing smell like mustard and cat pee? Just a little... hello, human beings. Power Gamer here. Sorry, just doing some tinkering. And... Okay. And... Okay. Whew. Finally got that thing fixed. A new year is upon us after all, so it's good to get a head start on upcoming projects. I mean, normally I just put them off so long that I end up completely forgetting about it. Hell, I got the PS5 in 2021, and since then it's basically been acting as a dust shield. So it's about time I finally use this thing, and what better game to play than the one that came pre-installed on it. Every other section requires some sort of vehicle that you zip Astro into by flicking up on the touchpad, and all of these require a very different control scheme based around the DualSense. There's a very pricey amount of features crammed into this thing, and this game is going to make sure you use every single one of them. Astro's Playroom is a cute little time. For what's essentially a test game, there's some really cool ideas and fun gameplay mechanics, so it's easy to see why they were able to take the foundation and build upon it to make something much bigger. I mean, sure, there's not really much here content-wise, but since it's basically a free game that comes with the console, there's no harm in trying it out. I guess you could also argue it's a $500 game that comes with a free PS5 as a bonus instead. Honestly, that might be a better investment. Hello, human beings, Power Gamer here. Recently, I was approached by a guy who offered me a chance to see that people coming together for a greater cause can leave a positive impact on my life that will last forever. I thought he was trying to get me to join a cult, but then he just handed me a copy of Sonic Heroes and left. So my assumption was correct. Team Rose's campaign opens with Amy lounging on the beach alongside Cream the Rabbit, a character that was first introduced in Sonic Advance 2, yeah, we'll get to that one another time, and her Chow companion Cheese, as well as Big returning from Adventure 1. Here's the thing though, this isn't like Sonic Adventure where each character only played a select number of stages. Each team has to play through all 14 levels in order to get to the end. And like the Adventure games, there's a final story that only unlocks after you finish every campaign. So you essentially have to beat the entire game 4 separate times. To help visualize how these levels work as a whole, let's say this line represents the stage. Team Sonic just has to reach the end, Team Dark has to reach the end while making a few extra stops along the way, Team Rose only has to beat about half of it, and Team Chaotix has to pick up a bunch of random stuff or else they start over. Sonic Heroes is longer than any other Sonic game I've played at this point, and it really shouldn't be because of how repetitive it is. But the worst part is, in order to beat the game, you don't just have to do a run-through with all 4 teams, you also have to get the Chaos Emeralds. Really glad I fixed that. And you're gonna mess up a lot because these special stages are atrocious! You're placed in giant tubes and have to grab these colored orbs which fill up this meter and let you do a speed boost. You need to gather enough speed to grab the Chaos Emerald before it reaches the end, and it is nearly impossible to do because these mines are scattered everywhere which stop you immediately, and the control is complete horseshit. It is so fucking slippery that just slightly tapping the joystick will send you flying, and if you end up on the ceiling, it's nearly impossible to get back down. If you make even the slightest fucking mistake, you've already failed, so just reset the game and get another try. Getting the Chaos Emeralds in this game is fucking miserable because, again, you have to beat 2 levels in order to get another try, so even with Team Rose, it takes like 8 minutes just for 1 extra attempt. And all that adds up to make beating this game genuinely not worth it because the process is grueling and awful and a crime against it and I fucking hate it! I mean, getting the Chaos Emeralds was rough in the classic games, but at least you got an awesome power-up out of it. Not only is this light years worse, but you don't even get to use Supersonic. It just unlocks the final level. I got so fed up with these that I was considering throwing in the towel and saving this game for later, but then I tried looking up some tips, and thanks to this video, I figured it out. You want to select the power character because they're slightly easier to handle, and then hold the dash button while getting the spheres. Don't let the animation fool you. Holding it gives you more speed than mashing it. Once I did that, I got most of these no problem, but I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to do research just to finish the goddamn game. And that doesn't change the fact that these bonus stages are horribly designed, and even with that knowledge, victory is not guaranteed because if you make even one slight mistake, you fail. Not to mention the game can just spaz out on you and make you go in the wrong direction. This honestly goes beyond the line of being awful. This is fucking inexcusable. What I'm about to say may sound like sacrilege, but I am not joking when I say this. I would rather refight the final boss from Sonic and the Secret Rings than get the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic Heroes again. Yeah, I said it, because doing this is not only miserable, but it really wastes my time. And if there is anything a video game can do to make me not want to play it anymore, it is waste my time. Team Dark's campaign ends with Rouge finding a hall lined up with shadow robots and begins to wonder if the one they've been with is also a copy, but Omega ensures her that the real one must be out there somewhere. Yeah, I'm just gonna say right now, he's not a robot, he is the real one. And with how grueling this process is the final reward actually worth it? Eggman reveals that he was locked away by that robot from earlier, who is in fact Metal Sonic. Turns out he orchestrated this whole thing so he could collect data from Team Sonic as well as Shadow, and Chaos data from Chocola and Froggy, allowing him to spend almost a full minute transforming into this oversized menace. The game ends with Sonic declaring that they are in fact Sonic Heroes. That's the name of the game. And after the credits, you're encouraged to get all A ranks on every level. Ha! No. Overall, I'd say this game is just kinda okay. If you're a passionate Sonic fan, it's worth playing, otherwise you can easily skip it. While I had my fun with Sonic Heroes, it is definitely a one-and-done game for me. But on the bright side, the guy that gave it to me was right. Teaming up can leave a very positive impact on my life. So, going forward, I will now officially do everything as part of a team. Okay, you guys ready? Go. Alright, come on. No, not like that! This is ridiculous.
Well, maybe I should lead instead. I mean, I fancy myself a great leader, being a CEO and all. It's not like you...
Okay, fine, we'll try it. We should need to change up the formation. What do you suggest? No, what are you doing? No, stop it, no, this isn't working, no, stop it, this isn't working! Okay, those one's just stupid. Actually, they say misery loves company, so yeah, I'm just gonna stick with my solitude. Hello, human beings, Power Gamer here. Another year, another Valentine's Day. Every company's favorite time to take advantage of failing relationships and lonely losers. Now, as a lonely loser myself, it's my job to find a better way to spend the time than going on a date. Most people just eat ice cream in their underwear while watching rom-coms, but unfortunately, I'm out of ice cream and my underwear is at the dry cleaners. But I can do that third thing, which is, of course, watching a romantic comedy. But you wanna know what's even better than that? An interactive romantic comedy. Though, for today's subject, I use all 3 of those words very loosely. So this is not just a broken mess like Superman 64, horribly designed and frustrating like Ride to Hell Retribution, or it's quite frankly unlike any other game out there. But everything has a story to it, so what does this one have? The game was developed by United Pictures, a studio best known for making Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. Yeah, there is barely any information on the studio, and as far as I'm aware, this was their only game. It primarily starred Gene Bassone, apologies if I said that wrong, a former wrestler who apparently did this as a favor for a friend, and Edward J. Foslow, whose only other credit on IMDb is Visions of Sugar Plums. don't think I want to know more.
Yes, that's right, helpless romantics. Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is officially playable on more consoles than Pokemon Emerald. And as a connoisseur of garbage myself, I of course had to pick up a copy of it, because sometimes watching videos isn't enough. To truly experience something so infamous, you gotta check it out firsthand, which is one of the best ways to spend this day of commercialized love, so let's do it together.
There's a cut halfway through which removes her clothes just so they can do this very important close-up shot, and then we get a disclaimer that you normally see on cartoons from the 1940s.
Which is also Limited Run's way of saying, hey, we don't take credit for this, we just brought it back.
We then get the finest title screen that Microsoft Paint can offer, as well as the opening credits. Apparently John's a plumber, and his mom wants him to wear a tie. Subtle, but she's also very concerned about his love life.
Why is it I haven't seen you with any woman? Why is that, John? Don't you like women anymore? John, are you gay?
I beg your pardon?
She then orders him to come over for dinner later that night, and he tries to muffle himself with a pillow. Wait, huh?
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry, I guess that was the traditional transition dog. I'm not very familiar with that.
We then cut to Jane, that woman from the opening, getting a call from her father.
Where are you, Jane? You called her landline. Where do you think she is? The morgue?
That's pretty much the story. John and Jane are both being pressured by their parents to get married and have kids, and apparently it's your job to get them together.
But I'm sure you're wondering how you're supposed to do that. Well, that's where the gameplay comes in. That's it.
This game was advertised as full motion video, but there is no video, motion, or full to be found anywhere in here. And that's not even getting into all these random filters they throw on screen. To top it all off, the acting feels like something from a VHS tape you find in the back of a rental store, the music that plays in the background is stupid, and the writing is abysmal, and not really in a charmingly cheesy way.
After doing some research, apparently the reason it's basically a slideshow was because they were afraid of some of the game's content will receive an adults-only rating from the ESRB. But the game literally says you have to be 18 to even get to that stuff, so that's either pointless or a lie. Regardless, it makes the game feel even lazier than it already is. And since the gameplay is even more basic than the Stanley Parable, there really isn't anything to give an overview of, so let's just look at what actually happens.
Well, after Jane hangs up on her father, we get connecting shots of her and John taking showers set to 50s rock music. Then a warning comes on that isn't really needed because their parts are blocked by these weird face things.
I mean, what kind of censorship is that?
One wrong move, and you're sitting home on a Saturday night.
Today's Friday.
Jane, however, begs Thresher to give her a job, leading to our next choice. Either he finds something for her after all, he turns her away, or takes advantage of the situation.
Note, you must be 18 or over to take a look at this decision.
Well, get out of here, kids, because my curiosity's getting the better of me.
You know, perhaps something can be worked out after all.
Yes?
Take your clothes off, Jane.
Wow, he didn't hesitate at all.
Here? Now?
Read my lips.
I can't, you're just a picture.
The narrator gets mad at us for putting Jane in a jeopardizing position, and we get another choice. Either she declines this disgusting proposal, or she'll do anything to get the job.
Oops, my finger slipped.
Jane says she actually likes this kind of stuff, as evidenced by her ability to pull whip and handcuffs out of thin air. Doy. She then begins to take control and...
We know who's the boss now, don't we, Mark?
Can I show this?
The narrator gets really pissed this time, so much so that he puts on a chicken mask?
Sorry, First Habit.
I've guided a lot of people through this story.
You know, I kinda doubt that.
But then we get interrupted by the narrator again. Wait, huh?
Who the hell are you?
That's a very good question. So he wrestles with this karate girl for a second before she takes the mic.
Finally got rid of that obnoxious character. And that horrible music.
Hey, she said it, not me.
Name's Thelma. I'm what's known as a takeover artist.
That's not a thing.
So apparently she's in charge now, which means we get reprimanded again.
I don't believe it. How could you make such choices?
Put a sock in it and let me get back to my crappy game.
Were you raised in a barn?
No, I'm just bored.
You deserve every minus what you have gotten and even more.
I don't care, shut up.
After that pointless nonsense, we can either have John join in the chase or distract Thresher. Yeah, let's go with that one. She gets away while Thresher compliments John on his tie and says he must be confused about his feelings. He then kisses him, offers him a chance to talk, and they walk off together holding hands, with John asking if Thresher wants to meet his mother.
Okay, hell with John and Jane getting together. This is the best ending in the game. We're done here. Dang it! Hey, well, that was worth a try.
So we have John run after them, which leads to this intense high-speed chase throughout the city. Well, as intense as a bunch of pictures is able to convey. Also, Jane's shirt's gone again, because I guess the thing has magic powers. How far are they even running anyway? There's been like 12 different locations in this entire montage. Why are there words in the air? Why is this phone ringing so poorly edited? Who the hell is this guy? And what is the point of any of this? Then the false narrator from earlier interrupts on behalf of women everywhere, because apparently the story is sexist, and the other guy comes back to commit murder.
Again, this will be a lot more exciting with movement.
They put an X over her face to signify she's dead, and a bunch of dogs applaud. What the hell am I playing right now? Then he goes into a rant about how the story is sexist towards men, and you know what? I don't care anymore, because he also insults me, too.
I hate to imagine what your love life is like.
Can't be much worse than yours.
5.5, and that's top dollar.
No way, I ain't no slut.
She says as she's trying to sell herself.
This apparently goes on for hours, as later that night, which still has light outside, they are somehow still going! Just take the money and leave, woman! Then John tries to profess his love for Jane.
I mean, but 5 million's nothing compared to our love.
What love? You just met!
She knees him in the crotch and walks off with Thresher.
If it's in my eyes, then I can't help it. I was born this way.
Ew.
He gets scolded with the chicken mask again and have to go back. If you choose the rejection option, John scolds Thresher and tells Jane he loves her and has seen her in his dreams. What dreams? You met this morning. Did you take a nap on your motorcycle?
And just to give you an idea of how much the team cared about this game, they actually left in a flub line and them laughing about it. I'm not joking.
I've been searching for you.
Freudian slip?
I'm gonna keep that in the script.
Anyways, John goes on about how he's been searching for love while Thresher keeps trying his offer.
How about 1,000 for a couple of hours?
Sure thing, buddy. Your place or mine.
Who the hell is this? The two of them kiss and are applauded by all the people not watching because nobody played this game and decide to actually talk about themselves. Yeah, this entire time they've only shared like one conversation with each other. John starts with a confession about himself.
There's something you have to know.
Yes? What is it, dear?
Well, you see, it's about my work.
I star in terrible video games.
Alright, that's finally over, and we can actually see the credits. Who are these people? Whatever, I don't care. Then we switch to a completely different scene where both of them think they're not good enough for each other.
Chicks don't like white guys anymore.
I'm sorry, what?
Now we see completely different people. Well, okay, now I know who those people in the credits were, but I still question, who are they and why are they here?
The storyline even gave you extra characters to fool around with. And you still couldn't get the two lovebirds together.
Yeah, because I had no idea what was happening!
The narrator comes back and take off the freaking chicken mask and says I made the wrong choice.
Okay, the narrator is one of the stupidest things about this game because no matter what choice you make, you get continuously assaulted, even when going down the path the game clearly wants you to follow. Screw you, you annoying dipwad.
Jane said she used to have the same problems because the devil was in her soul at one point, but she was able to pull through and stay pure. She then leaves him and the narrator reveals that now John is going to be forced into a shotgun wedding by his mother. You know what? I think I can live with that.
I've seen some people debate about whether or not this can even be qualified as a game because of how little there is to it, and I think there is just barely enough in here, but in doing so, that makes this not the worst game I've ever played in my life, but it is at least top 3. Again, if you like this kind of garbage, maybe you can have some fun in here, but even in that department, I think you're better off with something else, and there's certainly better ways to spend your Valentine's Day, like watching a real movie, or taking fencing lessons, or just going for a nice walk outside, which, you know what, that sounds really pleasant. I think I'm gonna do that myself.
Oh yeah, people forget Valentine's Day's in the middle of winter.
Hello human beings, Power Gamer here. Disney and Final Fantasy walk into a bar, and then 9 months later, a miracle occurs. The only downside is said miracle requires a 6-hour PowerPoint presentation and 3 textbooks worth of notes to understand.
Nomura originally wanted the story to be simple so that young players could easily understand it, but Sakaguchi said it had to be developed further similarly to the Final Fantasy games, or else it would be a failure, so it's his fault we have all this. It was such a big hit that it would end up getting an absurd amount of sequels and side games released for a variety of consoles, all with some of the most ridiculous names I've ever seen in my life, and all of which are essential to the constantly evolving story and gameplay. Thankfully, there's been a multitude of collections for the series, but even that gets really confusing. First, there was the Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 Remix Pack for the PS3, which was Kingdom Hearts 1, Re-Chain of Memories, which was a remake of Chain of Memories, and remastered cutscenes from 358 Days Over 2, yes, that's the actual title, not the full game, just the cutscenes. Then the Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 Remix Pack for the PS3, which included Kingdom Hearts 2, Birth by Sleep, and cutscenes from Recoded, again, not the full game. Then the Kingdom Hearts HD 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue for the PS4, which included Dream Drop Distance, 0.2 Birth by Sleep, a fragmentary passage, and Back Cover, an hour-long CGI movie giving some backstory. Then they released a 1.5 and 2.5 bundle for the PS4, which was both collections on one disc, and then they released Kingdom Hearts The Story So Far, which is a 2-disc pack that includes all 3 collections. And then there's Kingdom Hearts All-in-One Package, which is just a bundle of the story so far in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, that was a lot to unpack, and we haven't even actually started yet. Take that as an example of foreshadowing of things to come.
But if you go to every location available and then back to the accessory shop, Sora is confronted by Squall from Final Fantasy VIII.
That's Leon.
Yeah, sure, keep telling yourself that.
I seriously had to whip out a guide at least once for almost every world in the game. Now, to be fair, I am what the general population will refer to as stupid, but I think they could have made it a bit more clear where you need to go. Or at the very least, they could have given you a map so you know what areas you haven't been to to yet. Tarzan takes us to see his father, Kerchak, and asks for help, but he's speaking ape this whole time, so Donald and Goofy have the same exchange most people have when explaining Kingdom Hearts lore.
Did you get that?
Kerchak thanks Sora by throwing him up a cliff. Hey, at least things went better for him than they did in the movie. We meet Ariel, who asks Sebastian to teach us how to swim, and then we head to King Triton's castle, which looks remarkably less phallic than before. Ariel's then approached by Flotsam and Jetsam, the eels, as well as Ursula, who offers to help her.
I mean, yeah, sure, she looks about as trustworthy as a big white van labeled free candy, or a folder on a teenager's computer labeled homework.
In the end, he's ripped apart, step on the bug, step on the bug, step on the bug, but then his essence possesses the entire manor. I told you to step on the bug! There's also these question marks, which if you select, leads to a battle against frickin' Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII, and he...
Nope.
Riku then snatches the Keyblade from Sora, and since he's technically the Keyblade Master now, Donald and Goofy go with him. It's revealed that opening his heart to darkness allowed him to be possessed by Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, and presumably the same person who wrote those reports. We also find out Kairi's heart is inside Sora, somehow, and Ansem tries to take it, but Sora refuses.
Side note, I have seen multiple people say online they have this entire cutscene memorized because they kept dying on the boss and had to rewatch it every single time. Again, thank you, Final Mix.
After beating him, Sora, Donald, and Goofy are transported to the Abyss, where Kingdom Hearts lies, and Ansem turns into this, I have no idea what I'm looking at. What follows next is a test in psychological torture. This is the true final boss, but it goes on for like 7 phases. Most of them are pretty cool. The first one makes me want to jump into an industrial grinder. You just need to hit him while he slashes you with a double-bladed sword. As the fight goes on, he starts summoning these lasers, which can be really hard to avoid, and then he summons these bats, which are annoying, but if you just fly away, they despawn. All of this is hard, but again, manageable. What ruins the whole thing, though, is the last part, where the lasers become incessant. You have to be constantly moving or else they hit you, and there's only like 2 seconds before the cycle restarts. It is nearly impossible to actually get through these without getting hit while also dealing damage to him. I was on this one phase for almost an hour, and it was purely because of these stupid lasers! Look, I can get through a difficult boss fight, but if I can barely tell what I'm supposed to do, it doesn't feel fair, and I'm not gonna want to play anymore. Even when I won, I felt like I just got lucky. But if you can actually make it through that disgrace, the rest of the fight is pretty solid, especially since you just go back to the beginning of the phase you're on when you die. You don't have to restart the whole thing, which is good, because if you did, I think I would just give up. The second phase, you just go in this portal and then kill a bunch of Heartless to hit this core thing. You then alternate between these and the outside. The third phase, you take out these fleshy missile launchers with more avoidable lasers. Fourth phase is in the dark with stronger Heartless, but you get Goofy back. Fifth phase is just hitting this weird face while it shoots lasers. Sixth phase, you get Donald back and can barely see anything. Seventh phase, you hit these organ things before going for what appears to be the heart, as in the organ heart. And then finally a repeat of the first phase, but now he makes a portal that sucks you away and shoots more lasers. Honestly, this is easier than the first one since the annoying lasers aren't as frequent and you have Donald and Goofy. I seriously spent more time on the first phase than the entire rest of the fight. Once you beat him, he explodes, but then he comes back and opens the door, only to find Kingdom Hearts is full of light and not darkness, which washes him away. Sora, Donald, and Goofy try to close it, along with Riku, but then Mickey finally shows up, revealing he was the voice from earlier, and he and Sora use their Keyblades to seal the door shut, but Riku and Mickey are trapped inside. Sora sees Kairi and rushes to her, but they end up separated as everything collapses. Kairi returns to Destiny Island, where she finds the mural they made as kids. The game finally ends, and during the credits we see what happened to all the characters we met along the way. Afterwards, we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy walking along this path, wondering how they'll find Riku and Mickey. Then Pluto suddenly appears, holding a letter from Mickey in his mouth. Rather than giving it to him, he runs off with it, and they chase after him to parts unknown. Where are they going? Well, we'll have to save that for next time. The opening is identical to the original game. Peach writes Mario a letter inviting him to the castle for a cake, and he jumps out of a pipe.
There's been a breach! The illusion is ruined!
Yeah, I wasn't kidding when I said this remake shake things up. Since Mario isn't alone, Luigi and Wario jump out of the pipes as well, despite their names not being on the letter, which is completely understandable. I mean, one's a menace to society and the other only wears yellow. I know that was a lot of complaining, because I do like having the option of multiple characters you can play as. I just think it could have been implemented way better. But hey, it could have been far worse. You could have to run around the entirety of each level with every single character in order to complete the game 100%. Whomp's Fortress, Jolly Roger Bay, and Cool Cool Mountain are the same, which means yes, you can still kill the baby penguin, but on the bright side, the game offers an alternative control method. You can just use the touchscreen itself to move, and This is even worse. There's literally no feedback here, and your finger just ends up sliding around all over the place. Plus, you're likely to get fingerprints all over, so yeah, this sucks. I mean, the original DS did come bundled with a thumbstick to make this feel more natural, but do you really expect a tiny piece of plastic on your thumb to make that big of a difference? Okay, I'm bleeding right now, so maybe it would, but the point still stands.
Also, random side tangent, I've seen a weirdly large amount of people say they have memories of playing this game as a kid late at night when they were supposed to be asleep, and then when their parents came in to check on them, they tried to hide it by closing the DS and hiding it under their pillow, only to be exposed, because when you close the DS, you hear this. I just felt like bringing that up because apparently this is a weirdly common memory that a lot of people my age have, and I completely missed out on. Right up there with falling asleep while watching TV and then waking up in the middle of the night to the George Lopez theme song.
Loves Me. You pick pedals in the classic Loves Me or Loves Me Not trick. You don't even get points. Why is this here? Bingo Ball. It's a pachinko game. I thought we agreed Mario can never touch that again. Yeah, it's fine, I guess. And the final thing this game added is a new multiplayer mode. You and up to 3 others play as different colored Yoshis, pick one of 4 stages, and run around punching each other trying to grab as many stars as possible before the time limit of 30 seconds runs out.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you... Pointless!
Like last time, getting all the stars opens up a cannon that lets you blast up to the castle roof. Now, before Yoshi was there to give you 100 lives, but since he's been around for this whole adventure, instead we find Luigi's Last Rabbit. So your reward for getting all 150 stars is just one final minigame.
Well, that's dumb. It's not a bad game, since at the end of the day, it is still the original classic, but it's not quite the definitive version of Mario 64, it's more so a version of Mario 64. If it's your only option, I guess it's worth playing, but otherwise you're definitely better off with the N64 one. I mean, even with the Switch, it's now portable, so like, what the hell does this version have over that? Okay, that's a plus. Hello human beings, Power Gamer here. Money is stupid. I need to find a way to get rid of mine as fast as humanly possible, and I think I have just the solution. I'm going to go on eBay and buy every single copy of Mega Man 7 that I can find. I got a bid on every single one of them.
Mega Man 7 was released in Japan on March 24th, 1995, and finally, it was on the Super Famicom, with the rest of the world getting it on the SNES in the fall of that year. It took 7 games, but we finally got them to release a classic Mega Man game on something that wasn't the NES. And even then, this was only 1 year before the N64 came out, and the same year the PlayStation came out. Baby steps, I guess. He built 4 robots and hid them away so that if they went 6 months without being contacted by Dr. Willy, they would activate and come find him. And no, I'm not going to start calling him Dr. Willy because of that one typo. I like to think I'm classier than that. Dr. Wily reveals his escape, and we get the classic eyebrow bobbing much earlier than last time. Alright, Wily, here we come. Still don't know where you're getting all these fortresses, but we go straight to the Wily levels like in 1 and 2. This is ridiculous, and I hated every minute of it. The Yellow Devil was easier than this! But once you finally take him down, he begs for forgiveness again, only for Mega Man to say, screw that, and try to kill him. What the hell? I mean, after that boss fight, I say he deserves it, but still. Wily says Mega Man can't harm a human because he's a robot, but Mega Man says he's more than a robot. But then the place starts to collapse, and Bass and Treble swoop in to save Wily. Dang it!
Hello human beings, Power Gamer here. They say people need hobbies, and I didn't know where to start, so I just drew names out of a hat and I wound up with spelunking. Thought it'd be fun, until I slipped, and now I've been stuck down here for like 3 days or so, but I think I finally found a way out. Oh god! Whew. I made it! Sweet, sweet daylight. Sweet, sweet daylight. Wait, what? Huh? I was down there for like 60 hours. It shouldn't be light outside. What the hell? Oh, right, I forgot. Time freezes when you go underground. Anyone who's played Pikmin 2 should know that.
Pikmin 2, From Survival to Capitalism, a sequel to one of the earliest GameCube titles, which came out only a few years afterwards, something that Pikmin fans should not have gotten used to. The main difference is that instead of collecting ship parts, you're collecting treasure, which, as I stated, is just a bunch of random junk. In the last game, the planet you were on was heavily implied to be a post-apocalyptic Earth, and here that's even more leaned into by all the stuff you find. They range from inanimate objects to electronic devices to different types of food, and interestingly, some of them are real-world brands, making this whole game essentially filled with product placement. I mean, sure, you got some cute Nintendo references like a Game & Watch or an NES D-pad, but then you find stuff like Duracell batteries, a jar of Skippy peanut butter, or bottle caps for different drinks like Sprite and Yoo-Hoo. And this surprisingly doesn't feel like advertising. Olimar and Louie are joined by this AI that's connected to their rocket that gives each treasure a new name, so it feels like they're trying to identify what these objects are, which is honestly pretty charming. Although unfortunately this was taken out of the Switch release, making that the inferior version. Now if you're someone who liked the 30-day time limit, that might be disappointing, but if you're someone who hated it, then this is probably the best news you heard all week, which isn't saying that much. I mean, have you seen the world lately? Jesus. Frankly, I think you could enroll in medical school, get your degree, and then pay off all of your student loans in the amount of time it takes to complete some of these. It is a good thing there's no time limit in here, because it would be literally impossible to explore these places in only 13 minutes. From a story perspective, I don't know why time freezes, but gameplay perspective, I am eternally grateful.
I think the new Pikmin added are great. They're extremely useful, and their limited availability keeps them from being completely overpowered. I will say this does cause one big issue, but we'll save that for later. For now, let's talk about how much better using the Pikmin is. Mildly.
At the end of each day, you get an email from either the company president or one of Olimar's family members checking in on you. This is the replacement for those captain's logs, and honestly, I like these a lot better. It's nice being able to actually see Olimar's family, so we can actually put faces to the people we're supposed to care about, and some of these are just really funny, especially the president becoming more and more desperate as time goes on. And there's even some surprise characters, like Louie's grandma, the president's wife, or hot milfs in your area. But easily the best thing about this game is the new Piclopedia. Here you find information on all of the enemies in the game, and both Olimar and Louie will give notes on them. Olimar talks about their behavior, while Louie talks about how he would cook and eat them. Grass. But that's not even the worst part. Oh, no. The worst part about getting all the treasure is this dumbbell in the Wistful Wild that requires 1,000 Pikmin, or more accurately, 100 purple Pikmin. I mean, okay, sure, if you give someone the strength of 10 Pikmin, it might feel like a missed opportunity to not include something this heavy, but actually getting it is a massive pain. Like I said, purple Pikmin are not as easy to come by, and even if you go through all of the caves without losing a single one, you're not gonna have 100 by the end of it. So you have to go through one cave over and over again farming for them. I'd recommend the Subterranean Complex. I mean, this did only take me like 20 minutes, but I still shouldn't have to do that. And on top of that, because they move so slowly, it literally takes 5 minutes for them to actually bring it to the ship. Everyone saves the treasure for last, and for good reason. Up next is the Submerged Castle, which is easily the worst cave in the game. For starters, it has every elemental hazard, but you can only enter with blues. But the real issue is if you are on any of these floors for more than 5 minutes, this abomination called the Water Wraith shows up and starts chasing you around. It steamrolls your Pikmin instantly, and no, you can't damage it. Plus, it moves at the same speed they do, so if this thing shows up, you're screwed. You gotta get out of there immediately, and if you don't collect every treasure before he shows up, you gotta do the whole thing all over again, and I spent half an hour resetting the 3rd and 4th stages to get everything in that time frame, and I physically could not do it. The Hole of Heroes is somehow even worse, because it's the longest cave in the game and has you rematch multiple bosses all in a row. It is exhausting and miserable, and one of them is the Empress Bullblax, which, like I said earlier, is completely luck-based. And you fight summon rooms with water everywhere so your Pikmin can drown. This game is just mean. The end is a fight with the Raging Longlegs, and wow, this is easy. It's literally just a bigger, beady Longlegs, but since it's a bigger target, it's much easier to kill.
What the hell? Why does one of the hardest caves in the game have one of the easiest bosses? On second thought, I'm actually very okay with this.
Sub-level 4 has these boulder guys on narrow platforms that can launch your Pikmin into a pit instantly, and sub-level 10 is filled with water, so you need at least 15 blue Pikmin to grab the treasure, but that's not super easy to do because there's a Gatling Grunk in here! So if it kills too many of your blues, you need to reset, and this place has a bunch of other enemies in it too. I was seriously in this one room for almost an hour, and this entire cave took me almost 3. Jesus Christ, why does this game just not end? I was honestly getting hand cramps from all this, and that's not even the end. Once you take all of them out, you have to attack its body. Now, it can't actually hurt you, but you still have to do a lot of damage to it because we can't let the game end just yet. My successful attempt alone took me over 20 minutes just because of how much health this stupid thing has. Game, stop. Please. If you actually take him out, you get the 4 weapons as treasures, as well as Louie, who's only worth 10 Pokos. Frankly, I expected less. With all the treasure collected, Olimar and the President fly back to Hakatate as the Pikmin bid them farewell by glowing, and that's it, the game just ends. However, there is an unlockable epilogue where we discover that Louie lied about being attacked by a space rabbit, and in reality, he ate all of the golden carrots himself, meaning that Louie was the real villain of the game.
So while I don't think Pikmin 2 is a bad game, I personally didn't like it very much. If it's your favorite game in the series, I can kinda understand why, but for me, I think it is just way too bloated for its own good, and I don't think I am ever gonna play through the entire thing again. If I'm going back to Pikmin 2, it's for the side modes. But there is one thing I still find really weird. What was Louie doing on the Titan Dweevil at the end of the game? I mean, it didn't look like he was ensnared or anything, he was just sitting there. So, was he really in any danger, or was he maybe working with the Titan Dweevil? Oh my god, Louie might be the most evil character in Nintendo history.
As I've said before, Mario Kart is one of the most nostalgia-biased video game franchises ever. The vast majority of people say their favorite Mario Kart game is either whatever the newest one is at the time, or whichever one they grew up with. 90s kids will say Mario Kart 64, 2000s kids will say Mario Kart Wii, wrong people will say Super Mario Kart, you get the point. But Double Dash is the rare exception to that rule. Even some people who didn't grow up with this game will say it's the best one in the series. But why is that? Well, I think that's because Mario Kart is a series that gradually evolves with every new entry, rather than reinventing itself each time. Some video game franchises like Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, will try and do completely new things with every new game, but others like, say, Animal Crossing, will take what was already established in the previous titles and just kind of build on it from there. Mario Kart is one of those, with the exception of Super Circuit, because that's going from a 3D console to a 2D console. Every new Mario Kart game can be seen as a general upgrade from the one that came before it. There's some things that only apply to specific titles, but for the most part, each game is just the previous one in the series, but with better controls and some new features. So the older ones kinda get left behind. Once Wii came out, it effectively replaced DS, then 7 effectively replaced Wii, 8 effectively replaced 7, and 8 Deluxe completely replaced 8 because, well, duh. So the only one most people will go back to is the one they grew up playing, not necessarily because it's better than the others, but because of nostalgia. Double Dash, however, is the only one that this doesn't really apply to, and that's largely because of how unique it is. It's the only Mario Kart game that really did try something completely different and was never done again. So a lot of people will return to it, but even people who didn't grow up with it will want to give it a try for that reason. But then we reach Baby Park, the single most love it or hate it track in Mario Kart history. Double Dash was the first game in the series to allow for varying lap numbers between courses, and this one takes full advantage of that. It is literally just a small oval with no hazards whatsoever, but because of how small it is, it goes on for 7 laps. This place right here is the living embodiment of chaos. You'll be passing racers in every possible position and have all kinds of items flying everywhere, no matter where you are on the track, and I love it. You never know what's gonna happen in Baby Park, and while you can get skilled at it, the challenge comes from avoiding all the massive items that get hurled everywhere, which makes it one of the most hilarious and fun tracks in the entire series. Some people may loathe that chaos, but I live for it. And then we end with Dry Dry Desert, one of the lamest tracks in the game. It is a generic desert course. You got some pokies and a sand pit to avoid, but that's it. It's not awful to drive on, it's just boring.
This is the equivalent of going through an obstacle course where the second to last challenge is all kinds of stuff getting thrown at you from every possible direction, and then the last one is just going through a door.
And thankfully, they prevented the degenerates from getting some Princess Upskirt action. But the Special Cup, Jesus Christ, this is ridiculous. I swear if you fall off even once, you are not winning. And what is up with the bouncing? Almost every time I crash into another racer, it sends me flying, and 9 out of 10 times I go off the edge. What is going on here? Whatever, after all that, I finally made it to the end, and oh, come on, a freaking blue shell! Why do these things never help me? I seriously spent almost 2 hours trying to beat the Special Cup. I've had enough. Let's finally beat this. First race, I got second. Not great, but I'll take it. Second race, still got second. This does not look good. Third race, I actually managed to win, and oh, hell yeah, the team ahead of me got 6th. Okay, I got this in the bag. I just gotta get at least 3rd place, and then I went...
I feel better now.
Booyah! Take that! Got second, but I'm way in the lead. Just gotta be super careful, and I got 4th place, but I still won. Thank God I have had it up to here with that cup.
Hello, human beings. Power Gamer here. What do you get when you take a popular Game Boy game that launched one of Nintendo's most iconic franchises and then combine it with a number? A reason not to sleep at night.
Kirby's Dream Land 2, one of the most misleading titles since the Never-Ending Story. While it may look like a direct sequel to Kirby's Dream Land, you have to remember there was an entire other game in between. But just because it's not an accurate title doesn't mean it has no value. The fact that no one talks about it means it has no value. Yeah, no one talks about this game very much, at least not in comparison to the other early Kirby games, which I guess makes sense. We have the first one on the Game Boy, then the second one on the NES, and then the third one we go back to the Game Boy, which is odd, but why did they do this exactly? Honestly, I'm not really sure. I could barely find any information on this game's development cycle. Instead, it was directed by Shinichi Shimomura, who worked as a map designer on Kirby's Adventure and would continue to work for HAL for a few more years before disappearing altogether. Seriously, no one knows what happened to this guy after 2002, so I hope he's okay. Now, the reason for this wasn't the inferior hardware, actually maybe it was, but I think it was to put emphasis on the game's new feature, the Animal Friends. There are so many issues with this fight, so let's go down the list. 1, the hitbox of him touching you to cause damage is really inconsistent. 2, hitting the button one time swings the sword twice, and you can't move while it's swinging, so if you hit it too many times by accident, you can't get away. 3, the range of the sword is pretty short. And 4, which is the biggest problem of all, he has 10 times as much health as you. I'm not joking, he has 12 health points, and it takes 5 hits to take out one of them. So you have to hit him 60 times while he only has to hit you 6. I'm sorry, but that is just inexcusable. How am I supposed to do that consistently? But that's not all, because there's a second phase where he turns into this giant floating eye that shoots lasers. Now his health is fully restored, but yours is not, so I take that back. You don't have to hit him 60 times while getting hit less than 6. You have to hit him 120 times! Are you freaking freaking kidding me? It's nearly impossible to learn the pattern because by this point you have such low health you die almost immediately, and if you get a game over, you have to do the DDD fight all over again. I was seriously on this fight for well over an hour. It wasn't until I got so frustrated that I looked it up online and found out that in the first phase, you can reflect the orbs he shoots at you, which does way more damage. But how was I supposed to figure that out? That's not very easy to do, and if you stand too close to him, it doesn't work. This is a Kirby game. The final boss should not be this difficult.
I'm not a fan of Kirby's Dream Land 2, I'm sorry to say it, but I genuinely did not have fun playing this game. At best, it felt like a lesser version of Kirby's Adventure, and at worst, it felt like an extreme test of patience. If you're a die-hard Kirby stan, you might enjoy it more than me, but if not, I say just skip it. I wouldn't really call it a bad game. I just don't like it. I mean, I'm probably not the best person to take this kind of advice from. I mean, I literally just found out yesterday you're supposed to take the wrapper off of the bar of soap before you eat it, not after. Hello, human beings, Power Gamer here. If you ever feel bad about what name your parents gave you, just remember it could always be worse. Like, they could have tried to incorporate your hometown into your name. Hey, that's basically what Nintendo did with these. Technically speaking, Wii U was my first proper exposure to the Super Smash Bros. Series, though even then it was just watching gameplay footage of it on YouTube, and I didn't hear about 3DS until a few years later. As of now, these are the only two Smash Bros. Games I have not played yet, and yes, I will be looking at both versions since I count them both as one game for reasons I'll be getting into later. For now, let's just pop the handheld version of my 3DS, the console version on my Wii U, and get the show on the road. Huh? What are you guys doing here? You're not supposed to be here for another 7 to 18 minutes.
Well, I cleared my entire schedule for this, so I expect that time to be put to good use. Time is money, after all.
I've been waiting for 3 days for this.
I called you yesterday.
I'm bad with time, okay?
Also, why is she here?
Yeah, T's busy filming a commercial in Scandinavia right now, so I called Stella instead.
Well, at least we know what the box he was talking about was.
Oh, wait a second. We're not actually going in there, are we?
Unfortunately, the shack is being used for a funeral right now, so I couldn't rent it this week, so unless you guys have a place, we're either going in here or we're screwed.
Fine, we'll use my house.
I knew you'd come around eventually.
Don't push it.
And here's where we finally answer the biggest question on everybody's mind.
How can I cut benefits for my workers?
No.
Why do frog legs taste like chicken?
No.
Who was the most important leader in the Roman Empire?
Well, that is a good one, but I was more referring to our Super Smash Bros. For Wii U and 3DS, the same game in different fonts, or different games that are slightly connected. Yes.
That wasn't a yes or no question.
The core gameplay of each version is roughly the same, and they feature identical characters and items, but the stages and modes have some big differences. So they're not completely separate entries, but they're not really the exact same thing either. They're more like two halves of one whole. I think that's why they went with such a basic subtitle, since they couldn't give them the exact same name, but they also couldn't really give them different ones either. This way you know that they are closely linked, yet they are going to be the exact same thing on both systems. But even then, most people just collectively refer to them as Smash 4, since they're the fourth game in the series. Hey, wait a minute. On top of those, Wolf, Lucas, and Snake were cut for completely unknown reasons.
So I don't get to play as a super soldier this time?
No, but you at least get to play as an edgy angel.
I like that deal.
But this game also lets you use Mii characters, which can be put into 3 classes: Brawler, Sword Fighter, and Gunner. I think this really should have been in the Wii game, but who cares? Now you can finally have a battle with yourself, cartoon characters, Muppets, historical figures, and whoever had this Wii U before me.
You have no idea how long I've wanted to hear you say that.
Plus extra stages for Wrecking Crew from Wrecking Crew, Pilot Wings from Pilot Wings, Woohoo Island from Wii Sports Resort, and Miiverse based on the Wii U and 3DS special feature.
Why can't I select it?
Wait, hang on, let me... Okay, I guess it's only selectable with one player.
Well, that's stupid.
But hey, now I can finally use this as a chance to talk about Adventure Mode.
Wait, where is it?
Exactly.
Yeah, remember how Melee added these fun little stages that were neat but only lasted like 30 minutes, and Brawl had an entire campaign that was cool but felt a little generic and underdeveloped? Well, Smash 4 decided to take the next logical step with Adventure Mode, getting rid of it entirely. It is absolutely nowhere to be found in this game. Your main single-player time comes from Classic Mode and nothing else. Okay, there are a few more, but the point still stands. There is no Adventure Mode in this game at all, and you want to know why? According to Masahiro Sakurai, he believed the cutscenes in the Subspace Emissary served as a reward for getting further into the campaign, but since people were uploading the cutscenes to YouTube, he felt that defeated the purpose of playing it, so he decided to just scrap the idea altogether. I mean, I kinda understand what he's saying, but I think a more logical solution would be to make Adventure Mode more fulfilling to play so there's more of an incentive to play it than just watching the cutscenes as opposed to, you know, getting rid of it entirely. So yeah, while the previous Adventure Modes weren't perfect, I would have much preferred if they tried to fix those issues with a new version instead of just cutting it altogether. Home Run Contest, which works the same, and instead of Break the Targets, we have Target Blast, where you hit a bomb much like the sandbag and then launch it into a giant structure before it explodes and hope that all the pieces come crumbling down to destroy as many targets as possible. Wait a minute, this is literally just Angry Birds.
Do they really think they could get away with that?
You'd be surprised at what people can get away with if you pay the right amount. Shh.
But if we want the best part of either of these games, look no further than Smash Run. This is a mode exclusive to the 3DS version, and it's honestly one of the best features in Super Smash Bros. History. It's basically the same thing as the City Trial mode from Kirby Air Ride, you know, the one mode in that game people actually talk about. Now sadly, the Wii U version doesn't have this, but instead it has something called Smash Tour. This sucks.
Listen, this has been neat and all and fun, but are we actually gonna play this thing together or not?
I'm getting there, be patient. This is why I told you guys to wait outside until I was ready.
Can we save the fighting for the actual game?
Okay, let's get into the multiplayer.
And if you think that wasn't enough to make this game crazy, you can now have up to 8 players battling at the same time. It's only available on specific stages, but it leads to absolute anarchy and chaos, which makes multiplayer even more ridiculous than it already was, and classic mode insanely annoying, since you will always end up with one 6 or 8 player fight, sometimes 2.
Well, that just seems impractical.
Yeah, who the hell would actually be able to get 8 people in the same place at the same time for the same purpose?
Well, you know, it's actually pretty easy if you pay them.
There's also some weird stuff like the Flying Man and Magic Ant, who joins whichever player touches them first, and the Great Cave Offensive, where the only way to kill your opponents is by hitting them into the lava.
Anyone who agrees the stage shouldn't have been included, say aye.
Aye.
Yeah, this one sucks.
But here's the thing about the multiplayer in this game, it's not very accessible. The 3DS versions of the game not only requires you to have multiple systems for multiplayer, but it also requires you to have multiple copies of the game. Yeah, for some baffling reason, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS does not offer download play, so it doesn't matter how many people own a 3DS, if they don't all have their own copy of the game, the standard versus matches are either by yourself or with one other person if you're lucky.
Wait, so then why are we even here at all?
Well, I'm sorry, but only one of you actually has a copy of the game, and that's not my fault.
Well, you could have just bought more copies of the game.
I'm not gonna make purchases that aren't essential. Why would I buy the same game 4 times?
Don't you have 15 copies of Wii Music?
Yeah, but that's different. Those aren't games, those are building materials.
But I guess I should be grateful that, like in Brawl, you can just fight random CPU opponents without going through the side modes.
You know you can do that since the original game, right?
What?
Free for all!
Well, I'm an idiot.
That you are.
Now on the Wii U version, it's a lot better, since the console only requires you to have multiple controllers, and the game offers you plenty of control schemes. There's the Wii U gamepad, Wii Remote, the Wii Remote and Nunchuck, the Pro Controller, and they even made an adapter that allows you to use GameCube controllers for this game and this game only, to the point where they even made new GameCube controllers with the Smash logo on it. I'm telling you, people worship this thing. Sadly, I don't have the GameCube adapter, nor any Pro Controllers, but luckily they give you an option to connect the 3DS to the Wii U, so it can serve as a controller for Smash 4. Oh sure, you can download that, but you can't download the actual game? Whatever. It serves as a passable method of playing the game with multiple people if you don't have enough controllers.
Says the one using the gamepad.
Hey, you're still kicking all of our butts.
Well, yes, but I could be kicking them more.
If you're unhappy, we could switch.
Ooh, yay, wonderful.
They did later release the Circle Pad Pro, but I don't think it's compatible with this game, and if it is, it doesn't matter because I don't own one. Admittingly, I could have prepared for this game a lot better.
You think?
Smash 4 kinda ends up in this weird middle ground where there have been a lot of improvements, but the single player isn't as fun as Brawl, and the multiplayer isn't as fun as Melee, so while this game is really good, it ends up being one of the weaker entries in the series, at least for me anyway. But this game did have a few more big additions to the series that unfortunately I can't actually show off. It was the first one to have actually good online, that has since been shut down. It introduced Amiibo, not just to the series, but the world in general. The first line of Amiibo was for Super Smash Bros., and people went nuts for these little things, but all the ones I own are linked to Smash Ultimate, so I can't actually use them in this game, and this was the first game in the series to have DLC, which is no longer purchasable since the Wii U and 3DS eShop closed down before I got either of these games.
That's it! I'm out.
Wait, don't you live here?
Honestly, I'm not too broken up about this, since it means I have fewer stages to show off and characters to run through Classic Mode with. But yeah, this game actually had extra characters and stages you could purchase. Some of it was brand new, while others were from older games. For characters, we have both Roy and Mewtwo coming back from Melee, as well as Lucas, which isn't as exciting since he was literally in the last game, but whatever. But we also had 4 new characters added, the first of which being Ryu from Street Fighter. This was pretty cool. Street Fighter is arguably the most iconic fighting game series of all time, so having it be represented in this giant fighting game crossover felt like a given. But it felt like the exact opposite of a given, in that it seemed completely impossible, was the second character, Cloud from Final Fantasy. Oh my God, that was nuts! Not only was Final Fantasy VII a game prominent for not being on a Nintendo console when it was released, but Cloud became the first character in Smash Bros. To have almost no Nintendo connection whatsoever. And sure, Final Fantasy VII has since been ported to the Switch, but even still, this was huge, and really meant that anyone could join Super Smash Bros., even if they themselves had no connection with Nintendo. I mean, the first 6 Final Fantasy games were Nintendo exclusive on release and ported to some of their handhelds, but those games didn't have Cloud in them, and then the third DLC character was Corrin from Fire Emblem.
Yay!
Yeah, after 2 third-party characters with no Smash representation whatsoever, this felt kinda disappointing. Not only is Corrin from a game that isn't very popular among the series fans, but the base game already added 2 Fire Emblem characters. So the fact that we were getting a third one that even fans weren't too excited about was the straw that broke the camel's back. Everyone complains about how many Fire Emblem characters are in Smash now, and I can almost guarantee that would not happen, or at least not as often, if it wasn't for Corrin. But thankfully, the final character made up for it, Bayonetta from Bayonetta. I don't think anyone actually expected her to make it in. Sure, Snake was technically the first M-rated character to join Smash, but he's nowhere near as overt as Bayonetta, so the fact that she joined was awesome. That is until people realized how overpowered she was, but whatever. The DLC also gave us some new stages, which are the same in each version. They brought back 3 stages from the original game, those being Peach's Castle, Hyrule Temple, and Dreamland, and for the new stages, we got Super Mario Maker from Mario, plus 1 stage for each of the interesting new characters. Suzaku Castle from Street Fighter, Midgar from Final Fantasy, and Umbra Clock Tower from Bayonetta, plus the Wii U version also had a pirate ship from Brawl. Honestly, a pretty solid selection of stages. They also gave you the option of purchasing Mii costumes, which was a nice little compromise for characters that didn't make their way into the actual game, and they all cost less than $1, so if you only wanted 1 or 2, it wasn't much of a money sink.
What happens if you buy all of them?
Well, then you just wasted a stupid amount of money.
Well, you could have told me that earlier.
Hey, shut your pie hole, young man! Money is not stupid.
Well, that's about everything for Smash 4.
Did we really need to clear our whole schedules for this?
Dude, I spent like 30 hours playing these games.
Well, it only felt like 30 minutes.
Either way, there is literally nothing left to talk about, so we're done here.
What about Street Smash?
Who the hell cares about Street Smash?
Okay, fair.
Super Smash Bros. For 3DS and Wii U are really good, though probably the weakest part of the series for me, aside from the original game, of course. The single-player stuff is a step down, and the multiplayer, while solid, is a lot more of a hassle than it was previously, so I don't really see myself going back to either version of this game as much as Melee or even Brawl. These are by far the least talked about games in the series, and it's pretty easy to see why, since while they are solid, they don't really do much to stand out. But don't be fooled, they're still a really good time. The core gameplay is fantastic, and the new characters and stages they added are mostly pretty good, and the ones it does right, it does really well. So, while it's not my favorite part of the Super Smash Bros. Series, both versions are a must-own for each of their respective consoles. What the hell? Why are you guys still here? We're done with the game.
We told you, we cleared our whole schedule for this.
Well, sorry guys, but there's nothing left to talk about, so there's no point playing the game anymore.
Well, we've got an afternoon to kill, so we've got to find something to do.
Do you have any ideas?
Me and you and me, no matter how they toss the dice, it had to be the only one for me is you.
You see, I always warned you something like that could happen. Hello human beings, Power Gamer here. Wanna go sailing? No? Well, good, because I don't have a boat. Luckily, there's this new trend called chair sailing that I've really been meaning to try. Watch! This would probably be easier if I was in the water. Sure enough, a new clip was shown off at Space World 2001, and people were, not thrilled, to say the least. I mean, their previous demo looked like this, and the new one looked like this, so, kind of a big jump, if you ask me. Remember, back then it was all about making your games look as realistic as possible, so to go from a cutting-edge, at the time, Zelda adventure to something that wouldn't look out of place on Nickelodeon certainly rubbed people the wrong way. Much like Ocarina of Time, we're able to freely explore and can get into some fun shenanigans, like drowning a pig. The boat reveals that the bird was controlled by a shadow man named Ganon, Dorf, and that he's the same man who tried to rule the world all those years ago. I mean, this has got to be my favorite incarnation of Link in the series, purely due to how expressive he is. In the N64 games, you can count the number of times he emoted with one hand, but here he has so much personality, despite still never talking. It's clear from minute one that he wants almost nothing to do with this birthday tradition, but he sticks it out anyway for the sake of his grandma. And that's only the beginning, because he shows far more emotions than any other Zelda game before or after, maybe Skyward Sword excluded. In order to reach these islands, you have to sail there on your boat, and this is pretty cool. At first. Remember how my biggest complaint with Ocarina of Time was how big and empty Hyrule Field was? Well, the Great Sea is even bigger, and it isn't just the middle area, it's the entire thing. Now, thankfully, there is a lot more content in here than Hyrule Field, since, like I said, there's 49 different islands you can explore, and most of them do have something, like a heart piece, an extra item, or a great fairy fountain, which gives you some kind of upgrade. And finding each of these islands can be pretty fun. There is a really good sense of adventure in this game, sailing on the open seas, hunting for treasure like a pirate. The only downside is in between these islands is a whole bunch of nothing. The Swift Sail genuinely cuts the amount of time sailing takes by more than half. It is an absolute game changer, and apparently the only reason it wasn't in the original game was because the GameCube didn't have enough memory to make it move that fast. This alone makes the HD version superior to the original, and surprisingly, that's not the best change that it added, but we'll get there when we get there. And unlike previous Zelda games, cuckoos are nowhere to be found. Alright, chicken, you got lucky. For now. Well, some items have been swapped around, but there's also a new Tingle bottle you can get, which lets you post things to Miiverse.
Never mind. We save Makar and head back where the Great Deku Tree gives us Feyor's Pearl as thanks, and the Koroks go to spread their seeds across the sea.
That sounded way less dirty in my head.
Make a beeline for Outside Island and use the ship's new cannon to break into the cave. Here we meet Jabun, who gives us Nehru's Pearl. Yeah, there's no dungeon for this one, almost like it was cut. He dies, and you run into the final chamber where Link comes face to face with Ganondorf, who formally introduces himself this time. He reveals that the Master Sword served a second purpose of acting as a seal on his magic, and by releasing it, Link reawakened his full power. I'm starting to think Link should stop taking this thing. He explains that Ganondorf's return was unstoppable, so they left their fate in the hands of the gods, who stopped him by flooding the kingdom and sealing it away at the bottom of the ocean. But they also chose who would build a new country and commanded them to take refuge on the mountaintops. Don't ask what happened to everyone else. He then reveals that Tetra's necklace is actually the Triforce of Wisdom, and puts the final piece inside, transforming her into her true form. Princess Zelda. The king says Link must restore the power of the Master Sword to stop Ganondorf, and Zelda has to stay in the castle for protection.
It's worth pointing out that this is one of the more controversial aspects of Wind Waker's story, since unlike Sheik, Tetra had no idea she was Zelda previously, and now that she does know, she just ends up sitting in the castle instead of actually doing stuff like she did before. But I think it makes sense, since like the king said, it's too risky for her to leave, since if Ganondorf gets her, there's no stopping him.
Link conducts Makar, and together they fully restore the power of the Master Sword.
So now it means we can finally go take on Ganondorf, right? Ha! You wish! Because now it's time we finally get to by far the most infamous part of the Wind Waker. The Triforce Hunt.
Yeah, the boat mentioned this earlier, but here's when it actually becomes important. Because 2 of the planned dungeons were scrapped, they decided to pay tribute to the original Zelda game by making it so once you beat all of the dungeons, you are required to scour the seas for the 8 pieces of the Triforce of Courage. Remember that incredible chart I mentioned earlier? Well, that was a gift from Tingle that cost a 200 rupee delivery fee, take that as foreshadowing, and marks 8 islands on the map that you need to go to. In the original, each of these islands require you to solve some sort of challenge, and as a reward you would get a Triforce chart, which would then tell you the location of one of the Triforce shards. Thing is, Link is unable to interpret these charts for some reason, and that's where Tingle comes into play. He's able to decipher these charts and will do so for you at the mere cost of only 398 rupees per chart. If you thought Wind Waker was slow before, this brought the game's pacing to a crashing halt. There is no way you're gonna have enough rupees by this point, even if you got both wallet upgrades, so you gotta go farming, and it takes forever to get that kind of cash. But this is where the best change of the HD version comes into play, as the number of charts has been reduced from 8 to only 3. The more complicated islands just reward you with the Triforce shards themselves, not only making the hunt itself much faster, but the total number of rupees required goes from 3,184 to only 1,188. A far more manageable amount that, even if you don't have from the start, isn't too hard to collect as you're getting the other pieces. If the Swiss sail wasn't enough to make this the superior version, this sure as hell cemented it. He goes on about the winds of his home desert versus Hyrule, makes this incredible face, and punches Link, sending the Master Sword flying. He snatches the Triforce from him, and all 3 pieces come together, but then the king shows up and touches the Triforce himself, wishing for the children to have hope and all of Hyrule to be washed away to destroy Ganondorf. I think there are better ways you could go about this. The water begins to flow in as Link and Zelda wake up, and Ganondorf attacks, leading to the true final boss, which is kinda underwhelming, but hey, at least it's cool that Zelda actually does something. If you talk to Zelda, which the game does not instruct you on, she says you need to distract him and to ready your shield. She then takes aim at you with the light arrows, and you need to use your shield to reflect them back into Ganondorf. Doing this allows you to parry one last time, causing Link to fly into the air, and he stabs Ganondorf directly in the head, which then turns him to stone, killing him for good. Okay, the fight was kind of meh, but that was awesome.
Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker is pretty solid, but not as great as it could have been. Unfortunately, it is really brought down by the pacing issues. I wanted to love this game, but it's about as long as Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask, with significantly less content to it. It's just that what is there, while pleasant, takes a lot longer to do. So I don't really see myself going back to this one, unless I want to finally finish my original save file on the GameCube, but that's not gonna happen for a while. But overall, I still think it's great. The core gameplay is pretty fun, the graphics are great, and there's a pretty fun cast of characters. While it's not my favorite game in the series, it is still really good, and I definitely think you should play it. Hell, if you've never played a 3D Zelda game before, I think this is one of the better ones to start with, since there's a more accessible art style and it isn't that challenging. The only downside is the superior version is locked to a console the vast majority of the population does not own. Which is why I'm starting my own non-profit charity organization. We use for use.
I said before I remembered, nobody wants these things.
Hello human beings, Power Gamer here. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a minute to talk about a very serious issue that is quite near and dear to my heart, and that is of course, spontaneous combustion. Spontaneous combustion is a very serious issue that affects exactly 200 people every single year. That's 0.000000586% of the world population. Don't bother checking my math on that, my work is flawless. When a person begins to suffer from spontaneous combustion, their body continuously fills up with air, and it just keeps going and going until They can't take it anymore. My 23rd step-cousin's brother's daughter's neighbor's hairstylist spontaneously combusted last fall, and ever since then, it has been my mission to spread the word about this very important issue, and I think the best way to do that is to lure folks in with a discussion that at least 30 million people have experience with. Perfect.
Hell, even without skipping, 2 of the worlds are completely optional, since in order to even reach World 7 and 4, you have to beat the previous world's boss with a mini-mushroom, which lets you take a different path. I told you they knew this thing sucked. The game also brings back the red coins from the 3D games, only they obviously had to fix them. Since this isn't a collectathon, these things would be about as useless as the blue coins in Sunshine. Danger Bob-omb Danger is a really fun one. You guide this Bob-omb while avoiding fireballs and the fire stream from the Bowser statue, and the longer you go without getting hit, the more points you get. It is the same chaotic fun as Soaring Splo, which makes it a total blast. No pun intended. World 1, you fight Bowser, and it's a repeat of the fight from the original game. Jump over him and hit this button to destroy the bridge, which causes him to fall into lava and burn into a skeleton. Fun!
New Super Mario Bros. Is really fun. It doesn't really add that much to the Mario series, and it can be a little too easy, but it's still a pretty good game. It controls really well, and the level design is great. If you somehow never played a Mario game before, I think this is one of the better ones to start with, and I hope I'm not too biased when saying that. It only takes about 4 hours to beat if you don't go for everything, and if you do, it can easily double that. Either way, I really enjoyed this game, and it will always hold a special place in my heart. Plus, my discussion on it has allowed me to continue to spread the word about spontaneous combustion. Let's see how many donations the charity has gotten. But 53 cents? What the hell? Why is no one donating? Oh, right, no one cares about spontaneous combustion anymore because of these.
Ratchet & Clank Going Commando, or Locked and Loaded as it's called in some countries. No idea why they decided to change that. The last game's ultimate weapon cost 150,000 bolts. This one's costs 1.5 million. Christ.
You can borrow my bluebell, so long as you're gentle.
They call to give him a warning, and he says to meet at his disposal facility, but they need a password to enter.
Yeah, I sure trust the password that was given to me by the guy who abandoned me in the desert and speaks in bastardized English.
The two reunite to fly through 2 different lava hallways. Why does a ship prison even have lava? One gives you a transmission revealing Angela is in trouble, with Ratchet seeming very protective, and the other lets you buy this Quart figurine, which does absolutely nothing.
Seriously, I have no idea what this thing is for, aside from wasting 20,000 bolts. Maybe there's a side quest I missed out on, but as far as I can tell, this thing is about as useful as a college degree in philosophy.
His attacks aren't that hard to avoid, it's just typical robot fodder, but he is a total HP sponge that barely takes any damage, and there's no way to easily refill your weapon ammo. So you gotta jump on the rooftops and use these turrets to scratch him while also taking out these things and getting out before he destroys it, which will happen after a certain amount of time. Screw this whole planet, I was on it for an hour. He tries to pin this whole thing on the 3 heroes, but misuses Angela's Elixamore and turns the Protopet into a giant monster which eats him, so we gotta take it out. It rolls around, spits out many pets, and bounces. Just keep blasting it until it smashes through the floor a couple of times, and eventually it goes down. That was the final boss.
Don't you just love it when a game is constantly kicking you in the face and then the final boss is literally one of the most pathetic things you've ever seen in your life?
The credits roll, we find out that this game is guilty of animal abuse, Ratchet and Clank talk with their new friends, and Quart gets castrated.
Ratchet and Clank Going Commando is awesome. The story is pretty lousy, and there are some parts that are more frustrating than they need to be, but the vast majority of this game is a huge improvement over the first one. I wouldn't recommend this as your first title in the series, but if you played the first one, I definitely recommend trying this out. And hey, if the first one didn't fully grab you, maybe this one will. I really had a good time with this game, though part of that might be because I actually made some special preparations. Yes, believe it or not, I've been going commando this whole time.
The people of St. Mystere are obsessed with puzzles, and Professor Layton loves to solve them, so almost everyone you talk to will give you a puzzle to solve because they all just have these on standby. Hell, sometimes Layton will randomly give Luke a puzzle to solve as a form of teaching him. The logistics of the system is honestly kind of weird when you think about it. Layton is trying to solve this big mystery, and some of it is pretty time sensitive, yet he always takes the time to do some math problems or find a hidden picture. Sometimes the puzzles relate to what the characters are actually doing, but those are pretty few and far between. I get this is how the game works, but it's still funny to think about. Seriously, the only thing the buttons actually do in this game is progress dialogue, which you can also do by tapping the screen. This stylus is working overtime, so let's hope this job comes with benefits. Stylus dental care is very expensive. When you solve one fairly quickly, it can be one of the most satisfying things in the world, and when you get extremely stumped on one, it can make you want to slam your face through the wall. You can get 3 hints per puzzle, but seeing them requires the use of these hint coins that you have a limited amount of, and sadly some hints are much more helpful than others. Some of them can give you some very helpful tips, some of them just give you a slight idea, but it can still be a little confusing, and some of them are just not helpful at all. Seriously, a lot of these hints are almost completely useless, and of course they happen on the most confusing puzzles in the game. Granted, you can solve them almost immediately by just looking up the answer online, but the vast majority of people will say that's cheating and that they're too good for that. I'm not one of those people.
In my defense, some of these are bullcrap.
And I like the little explanation it gives after you solve them in case you didn't actually figure it out and just guessed or looked it up. This one gives you a fun fact about this type of puzzle, and this one asks if you've been outside today. Did this game just tell me to go touch grass? In the village, Percy tells us about the large tower all the way in the back that nobody goes to, but frequently makes strange noises, and Deke lets you pass through the small clock tower if you solved at least 12 puzzles which open up the north of town.
Because the clock tower is way more efficient than, I don't know, A door.
This leads right into Chapter 4, Night Falls, where Layton and Luke step outside, and Gerard asks them to go find his watch that he dropped in the park. Go there and find Deke, who says Beatrice found it, so head over to the inn and then bring it back. That really did, in fact, quite literally, sure serve a purpose. At the manor, we see Chelmy freaking out about Matthew trying to serve him sweets, and then he berates Layton for supposedly interfering with his investigation. Dude, calm down, I got here first. Obviously, the two are connected, so they decide to return to the tower, but Layton wants to stop by the inn first.
Dude, we are finally getting answers. This is not the time for a nap.
We do so, and Chelmy accuses Layton of being the murderer since he claims Simon was killed with that vase Giuseppe handed him earlier. He then throws it against the wall, shattering it, meaning he threw away his proof. Layton says he and Luke were in town when the murder happened, but Chelmy doesn't believe him and demands he hand over the key. Layton brushes him off and says if anyone here is guilty, it's Chelmy. We then have to pick 2 correct dialogue options, which I kinda wish we saw more of since this is the only time this happens in the game. Layton reveals the newspaper he found detailing Chelmy's love for his wife's sweet potato fritters, and Chelmy gets her name wrong. The village was sealed off when looking for Claudia, meaning he couldn't have been able to enter after Simon's death, and that Chelmy couldn't have known about the key unless he was spying on them. All of this can only mean one thing. This man isn't the real Inspector Chelmy, and he's been impersonating him to try and steal the golden apple. Sure enough, the man reveals himself to be that shadowy guy named Don Paolo, and he jumps out the window. Apparently he was an evil scientist who was banished from studying his field due to being evil. Bruno says it's his duty to guide people to the golden apple, which lies at the top of the tower, and he's responsible for managing life in the village. It turns out all those cogs came from the villagers, who are actually robots built by Bruno, and the entire village was built by him and the Baron as a way of protecting the golden apple. We then have to climb up the tower and solve 7 final puzzles, with Layton explaining to Luke and us what's happening along the way. The crank was taken by Bruno to see if Layton and Luke could be trusted. Don Paolo was the one who skipped out on paying the inn. The people/robots went missing because they broke down, and Bruno brought them to the tower to fix them, which also explains those weird sounds that come from it. Paolo realized Simon was a robot and made up the murder story to disguise himself, and Lady Dahlia is a robot made to resemble Lady Violet, and she's what those journal entries were talking about. For the puzzles, we have an extra tricky ball-moving puzzle, playing a game of Sudoku, which I am really bad at, a math puzzle involving stairs, trying to get this red block out, which is so ultra-specific even a video tutorial I had to use was confusing, organizing cards, figuring out which numbers go where to get a line of 3s, and finally drawing 7 squares on this pinboard.
In fact, Layton's puzzle-solving skills have given me the inspiration I need to finally solve some of those mysteries that I've been wondering about for so long, like, what is the point of life? What are hot dogs made of? Where do men go when they say they're going to get milk? What is this black thing that's been sitting on my desk for 2 years? Seriously, I have no idea what this thing actually is. It just kind of showed up one day. I mean, it looks like it might be a game, but it's completely black. I can't exactly see it. Yeah, well, I guess I'll just open it up and take a look at what the... Fabio.
Did you miss me?
No.
Good.
How are you here? I thought I sealed you away in that void.
Well, before the portal sucked me up, I put a curse on the game and transported me here so that when it opened, I would be freed. Problem is, you're so dumb it took you 7 years to even notice it.
It's only been 2 years.
It's hard to last time in the void, okay?
Whatever, I'm done with your crap. I'm gonna do something I should have done a long time ago. What the? Why can't I move?
Suspension beam. I have more power than you would think, and now I think it's finally time I get you out of my way for good, with the help of this.
Wait, what game is that?
I'm surprised you haven't figured it out, but I'll give you a hint. It goes in here.
What are you doing to my PS3?
Use it to open the door to the one place worse than the void, and without your precious mega tool, you'll never be able to escape. Have fun!
Fabio, no, no, what are you doing? Fabio, no, don't you dare! Fabio!
Good, now that he's finally in there, my plan can truly begin.
Hey, Aiden, you owe me $50 for the pizza. Aiden, I am very serious about my money! All right, you asked for it. Wow, it really is bigger on the inside. Aiden, you in here? What the? Why is this here?
Hey Lawrence, what's up?
Hey Zev, have you seen Aiden lately? He owes me $50 for a pizza.
Have you checked his box?
I tried, but I didn't see him in here. He left his PS3 here though, and along with a game. Never heard of it before, and it doesn't have a disc inside. I don't know, do you think that means something?
I'm sure it's fine. What game is it? What?
Yeah, I really have no idea what this means. I've never heard of this before, so I think I'm just gonna...
Get as many people as you can on the phone right now. We could be in serious danger.
What the? Where am I? What's going on? Where am I? Okay. Stay calm. Don't panic. Just think. Let's see. There's fire everywhere. Smells like burning flesh. I can hear screams of the damned echoing in the background. And every single building around here is either a DMV or a school. Yep, I'm in hell. Ugh, stupid fuzzy red pig. You throw a guy out of your box and then seal him in a void for 2 years because he was gonna seal you in there, and then he sends you to hell. Give me a break. I don't have the Mega Jewel this time. There has to be a way out here. Come on. Okay, just gotta think. The portal was in my PS3. So, wait, huh? What the? PS3 controller. Perfect. Okay, clearly, whatever that game was that he put in the console has to have some sort of connection to this. So maybe if I turn the controller on and I beat the game, I can get out of here. All right, what game is it? Oh, crap.
All right, so is this everyone you can get?
I'm afraid so.
Don't you have a ton of employees that can help you?
Well, no, because they are, in fact, employees. Ergo, they have jobs to do, day jobs to do. If I suddenly made an announcement over the loudspeaker saying, everybody come, help me quickly, my sort of friend went missing because of a video game, they would either think that I am crazy or, even worse, they'd quit. And then if they quit, the company would go out of business, and then I wouldn't be making any more profits. No!
Sorry, but why are we here exactly?
Well, because Aiden's missing it, we can all be in serious danger.
Why?
Apparently, it's because I found this in his box. Oh, I love Sonic.
Not this one.
What's wrong with it?
This is one of the most infamous games ever made. If someone came in contact with it, something bad might happen.
That's ridiculous.
You say that like we didn't have to fight a bunch of demons on Christmas.
Yeah, but that was because of the toast, not the game.
The point is, our friend is gone, and I think this game is the reason why.
Oh, I'd say calling him my friend is going a bit far. And also, when we thought you went missing, it turns out you were just on a trip to Alaska. Why don't we just try calling him?
Well, I called him 8 times, he didn't pick up.
Look, if you think him vanishing has something to do with this game, I guess it wouldn't hurt to check it out.
Thank you, Mac.
So open it up and show us.
Oh, the disc isn't in here. It's just the case, see?
Well, then go get the console. It's probably in there.
Can't you do it? It was your idea.
Fine.
Wherever he is, I just hope he's okay.
Hello human beings, Power Gamer here. I'm in hell, and I have to play this now, because talking about video games was a mistake. It was the next-gen evolution for Sonic the Hedgehog, and it resulted in a game that's been torn to shreds more often than a billionaire's incriminating documents. Sonic 06 was finally released to the public on November 14th, 2006 for the Xbox 360, with the PS3 version releasing not long after, and my god, was it an absolute disaster. This game was blasted into oblivion by critics and Sonic fans alike. Everyone absolutely hated this game, and it was universally regarded as one of the worst video games ever made. Hell, it was so bad people began questioning if the Sonic franchise was even good to begin with. You know all that talk about Sonic having a rough time in 3D? Well, that didn't really come from the adventure games, it really came from this. It somehow managed to sell over 1 million copies, but that didn't really matter. This game was universally despised, and Sonic's legacy was sadly tainted forever. And in the almost 2 decades since this game was released, it has served as one of the go-to gaming punching bags for what not to do with a beloved series. This is one of those horrible games that I've just always been fascinated by, because it really is one of of the most interesting stories in gaming history. While I've never actually played it myself, I watched a bunch of YouTube videos about it when I was younger, but just hearing someone talk about it is one thing, actually playing it is another. I hope this will get me out of here, and even if it doesn't, it looks like I have no other choice. So, after all these years, I am finally going to play Sonic the Hedgehog 2006. God help me.
Sonic's story opens in the Kingdom of Soliano, which is currently holding their annual Sun Festival, honoring the god of the sun, Solaris. The festival is led by Princess Elise, who, I don't know why, but she seems off to me. I mean, yeah, she is a highly realistic human in a Sonic game with skin so pale it makes vampires look tan, but that's not it. It feels like she's missing something.
Oh, there we go. That's much better.
Anyways, in the middle of the ceremony, she's attacked by a bunch of robots, which are, of course, created by Dr. Oh my god, what the hell happened to Eggman? That redesign just looks wrong on so many levels. Good lord. Shadow's story opens with him infiltrating Eggman's base in an attempt to save Rouge, and he's apparently under direct orders from the president? Yeah, Shadow somehow works for Gun now, despite all the crap they gave him in the past, and he's over the whole mistaken identity thing thanks to the events of Shadow the Hedgehog, which, sure, we'll get to that game another time. The final story follows our newest character in the franchise, Silver the Hedgehog. Silver lives in the future, which has been devastated by the flames of disaster, and he fends off attacks from a fire monster known as Iblis, along with Blaze the Cat, a character introduced in the DS game Sonic Rush. Okay, yeah, I'll get to that one too. You know, assuming I actually make it out of this hellhole. Though I will say this brings up a continuity error, since Blaze was from another dimension in that game, but now she's from the future, I guess. Believe me, this is only the beginning of the plot holes. That's the general rundown of the plot. Sonic has to stop Eggman with the help of Tails and later Knuckles, Shadow has to stop Mephiles with the help of Rouge and later Omega, and Silver has to stop Iblis with the help of Blaze and later Amy. The story of this game absolutely sucks. It may sound only a little complicated, but trust me, it gets way more convoluted as it goes on. The time travel stuff makes it both pretty confusing and extremely stupid. It's filled with all kinds of plot holes, and the characters come across as complete idiots, especially Elise, who's one of the most useless characters in all of fiction. But I do not have the energy to get into that right now, so we're gonna put it off until later.
Alright, I got it.
It took you that long? It was literally just lying on the middle of the floor.
I was trying to get in the box without falling on my face. Come on. It won't budge.
Try pushing the eject button.
Nothing.
It shouldn't be that hard to open a disc slot.
Okay, wise guy, you try it.
All right, I will. Time to open this with the power of bribes. Would you open for $1? 100? 50? 1,000? Million? Billion? All right, I'm not going any further. It was worth a shot. Time to just use my muscles.
Not so easy, huh?
I am trying to get a good grip on it, and you talking to me like that is not helping!
Hey, what the? Was that Lawrence? Hey, anybody up there? Hello?
Wait, I think I heard something.
Aiden, are you in there?
Zav, is that you? Who else is up there?
It's me, Lawrence, Stella, and Mac.
Hey man, how you been? It's been a while.
Oh, you know, pretty standard stuff. I had a doctor's appointment a couple weeks ago. I managed to get my hands on a Switch 2. There's this new diet I've heard about that I've been meaning to try. You know, it's pretty standard stuff. I don't know, and also, I'm in hell!
Okay, fine. Struck a nerve there.
How are you in hell?
Because that stupid pig that made me play the Sonic Storybook games created a portal to hell in my PS3, sent me here, and now I have to beat Sonic 06 if I want to escape.
That is the stupidest thing I have ever heard in my entire life.
And what's that about a pig?
Yeah, it was this fuzzy red pig that was sitting on my desk for a while, but then he made me play Sonic and the Secret Rings, and I hated it, so I threw him away. About a year later, he came back. He sent me to this weird void thing where I had to play Sonic and the Black Knight. I beat that, which also sucked. I came back. He tried to send me back into the void, but I was able to reflect the blast and send him in there instead. But now he came back thanks to a cursed copy of Sonic 06, and I'm here now.
Okay, that explanation did not help things.
How come weird demonic stuff always seems to happen with you?
Oh, it's not just that. I've also had to deal with aliens, ghosts, a castle, a guy in a mask, Bubsy 3D, all kinds of weird stuff.
Have you considered seeing a shrink?
No, this kind of stuff just happens to people who talk extensively about video games, or any piece of media, really.
Discuss Aiden's obsession with weird creatures later. We need to get him out of there. Do you see an exit?
Nope, just a bunch of fire and schools, and maybe a DMV every once in a while. Have you guys tried opening the console?
Working on it!
No! Look, We're trying to get you out of there. Just stay put and just work on the game in the meantime.
Okay, but I hope you guys work fast, because this is not enjoyable.
The animation, however, is outright bad. Character movement is insanely jerky, and the lips just flap open over and over again, which don't even match the timing of what the characters are saying. And that's just for the cutscenes. It only gets worse when you're in the hub world. That's not even getting into the game's art direction. Like I said earlier, they wanted to make it look more realistic than previously, but that doesn't work when your main characters are a bunch of giant, colorful, anthropomorphic animals. Sonic and Pal stick out like a sore thumb compared to almost everything around them. While that can work if done intentionally, like say New Donk City from Super Mario Odyssey, this just looks wrong. And like I said, Eggman's new design is really freaking weird. And of course, the final big issue is that the game barely functions at all. It's really clear that this game was rushed out the door because it is filled to the brim with glitches and technical issues. It's insanely easy to just clip through a wall or have the character completely spaz out on you. And if all that wasn't bad enough, the frame rate slows down to a crawl if there's even 4 or 5 enemies on screen. This is the laggiest game I've ever played in my entire life, and I played Pokemon Scarlet. Now I am playing the PS3 version, and I've heard the 360 version runs better, but still, this just makes the game even worse than it already is. Some levels have you riding on a snowboard like in Adventure 2, only it's miraculously even worse. This thing has no momentum to it, and the gravity makes no sense. I am holding forward. Why am I going backwards? There's a buggy and a hang glider that shoot missiles, and a hovercraft and a motorcycle that have guns, because that worked out so well for them last time.
I am really starting to get sick of this. How's it going up there?
We're working on it.
Ah! Well, I'm out of ideas.
Well, you can't just leave me down here!
It's a PS3 that was cursed from a demon from hell. How are we supposed to know how to open it?
I don't know, call a helpline or something?
Thank you for calling the Satanic Objects Helpline. My name is Hera Henderson. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi. We have a PS3 that was turned into a portal by a demon, and now our friend is stuck in hell.
What game was used to open that portal?
Sonic 06.
Again? That's my 5th call about that game today.
Really?
Yeah, apparently some pig has been going around giving people copies of the game and telling them to play it. If they refuse, he sends them to hell and forces them to play it to escape. Unless they only have a Wii, then he gives them a different Sonic game.
I'm sorry, did you say a pig?
Yes, are you hard of hearing? There's another helpline for that.
No, I'm fine. How do we get our friend out?
Well, given my limited knowledge, I'd say beating the game could get him out of there. But if that doesn't work, you can try prying the console open with a crowbar.
We tried that already.
Well, then get some tomatoes and rub them on the console. Apparently they can weaken demonic powers.
Why?
I don't really know, that's just what it says on the manual. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have another call. Thank you for calling Hard of Hearing Helpline. This is Hera Henderson. How can I help you?
So what'd they say?
We need to order tomatoes and rub them all over the console.
I'm not even gonna ask.
Oh, great. Now we have to go all the way to the store, and I'm gonna have to use my money to get us tomatoes.
No, we won't. I just placed an order for same-day delivery on TomatoTraders.com.
Sweet.
Any luck?
Yeah, we're getting tomatoes.
And finally, Amy is the worst character in the game because of how sluggish she is. Her movement is slow, her hammer is extremely delayed and much smaller than it was in Adventure, so it's nearly useless, and she has this new double jump that takes forever and cuts your momentum.
Safe to say I'm not really a fan of any of the characters, or really pretty much anything about this game, but unfortunately, we haven't even gotten to the worst part yet. Yes, there is somehow one thing in this game that is worse than any of the other stuff we talked about so far, and that is the f***ing hub world.
Soliana serves as the hub world for this game, and it's basically Station Square, but 50 times worse. This place is massive and divided into 3 areas, but really it's more like 2 since the town areas are exactly the same. Now thankfully you're locked into 1, maybe 2 areas depending on where you are in the game, but it's still really easy to get lost, and a large part of that is because you don't have a goddamn map. All you have is this little radar in the corner, which isn't very helpful. Now you can talk to people to get hints on where to go, but this is only useful about 40% of the time. The rest of them just tell you to go somewhere without telling you where that actually is. Go to the train station. Okay, well, where is it? Now the one benefit of the game having a bullshit time travel plot line is that you don't always go back to the hub world in between levels. If you're in the future or past, you just go right to the next one, and I really wish the whole game was like that. Now the hub world does serve some purpose outside of just the levels, but that doesn't make it good. Scattered throughout the hub world are these portals that lead to action stages, aka the real levels, but there's also people everywhere. They look really uncanny next to Sonic and Friends, their lab animations are terrible, and the same models are reused constantly. The color above their heads determines what they say. Yellow icons give filler dialogue, so you shouldn't bother with them. Orange icons give you hints on how to progress, which varies in quality, and blue icons give you a town mission, which is a side quest that requires things like killing enemies or going through rings. Some of these are required to beat the game, but most of them are optional. Don't bother doing these because they are a boring waste of time, and that's mostly due to the loading screens. Yeah, this game is chock full of loading screens that last a eternity. And this wouldn't be so bad if they didn't pop up constantly, but they happen at least once or twice a level in between cutscenes, and both starting and finishing a town mission requires you to sit through 2 of them. Seriously, it's still going. Still going. Finally. All of these things are tied to the power meter, which works differently for every character. Silver, it depletes when you use specific abilities and refills when you're on the ground. Shadow, it fills up as you kill enemies, and when it's full, you can unleash a Chaos Boost, which makes you faster, stronger, and lets you use the upgrades. One makes your spear bigger, one lets you snap to enemies with the homing attack, and one that lets you unleash Chaos Blast. God, that's pathetic. And finally, Sonic, it's full at all times and never depletes. Yeah, I have no idea how this thing was supposed to work, but it wasn't coded properly, so you can use the gem powers that actually function as much as you want with no drawback, which just makes the purple gem even better. Well, at least one broken aspect of this game works to my benefit, but you get absolutely nothing for collecting all of this, so there is no way in hell I am doing that, pun intended. Oh yeah, there's also a multiplayer mode, who gives a shit?
Should be here any minute now.
You keep saying that.
Yeah, but if I keep saying it, eventually it will be right.
I don't think that's how that works.
Hi, I'm here with the tomato delivery.
Perfect, you're right on time.
No, she isn't. Well, then again, I don't really care. It's not my money that paid for this.
Your order comes to $6.66.
Ooh, yeah, I forgot my wallet. Does anyone have any cash?
Nope.
Sorry.
Absolutely not. Okay, fine.
Here you go.
Wait a minute. You're just the mail lady. Why are you accepting payment for tomatoes?
Delivery fee?
Oh, okay, that makes sense. You know, you gotta charge people where you can.
Good news, Aiden. We have the tomatoes.
Okay, how is that supposed to help me?
We don't know, but we're gonna figure it out. Everyone, start rubbing this on the console.
I really hope that works because now it's time for me to go over the story and levels. Oh god.
The next level, Dusty Desert, is a desert level where Sonic is carrying Elise and you have to hold the shoulder button to create this force field which prevents you from sinking in the quicksand. No idea why she can do that, but it's not an awful idea. Too bad it makes the level run like shit. After this, they run into a field where Elise patches up a non-existent injury and we have some weird tension that I am not a fan of. Elise explains that the Flames of Disaster is a term for the wrath of the sun god Solaris, which almost destroyed the world 10 years ago, causing Elise to lose her father, and now Eggman is trying to obtain that power for generic bad guy reasons. You'd think he learned his lesson about world-destroying powers after the adventure games, but apparently not. Sonic tells Elise that if she has time to worry, then to run, and they head back to Soliana, where Sonic is attacked by Silver. This is one of the most infamous things in the game, and yeah, it's one of the worst boss fights in video game history. If you go even remotely near Silver, he'll just grab you with his telekinesis and throw you away, which will always cause you to take damage, and if you don't get away in time, or he throws you straight up in the air, he just grabs you again, which instantly kills you. You can only hurt him if he grabs the furniture to throw at you, but you need to get away as fast as humanly possible, or else you're f***ed. And it's even possible to get stuck in an endless loop of him grabbing you and you picking up a ring, so you need to reset, which didn't happen to me, but still, this fight is absolute dog shit. And for God's sakes, will you please shut up?
It's no use! It's no use! It's no use! It's no use! It's no use!
If you actually win, Silver throws Sonic in the air, and Eggman kidnaps Elise again. Right. They get inside, and Eggman makes them hand over the Chaos Emerald, which activates his machine.
It's no use.
Don't you dare say that.
Sonic saves Elise again, but Silver shows up again, and Eggman kidnaps Elise again. Jesus Christ, can she stay still for 2 minutes? This time Shadow shows up to deal with Silver while Sonic runs after Eggman and Elise. She jumps off Eggman's ship where Sonic catches her. What was the point of her being kidnapped then? And we have to fight the Egg Genesis. Reference. They get away and Elise thanks Sonic, so he gives her bedroom eyes. Ew. But they're attacked by more robots and have to cross this lake to reach Tropical Jungle. After that, Sonic and Elise stop by a lake. She asks him if he's going to leave when he stops Eggman, and he says yes, but then she says she's somehow enjoyed this adventure.
It allowed me to be something other than a princess.
What, a hostage?
Elise reflects on how when she was young, her father told her to be strong and not cry no matter what. Wow, he encourages toxic masculinity on everyone, even his own daughter. She asks Sonic to remember this place even when he leaves, and he promises. They head back to the castle, where Eggman shows up in this battleship, demanding Elise hand herself over to him or he'll destroy the city, and she agrees. Are you fucking kidding me? How many times is this gonna get kidnapped? Peach and Zelda are safe more often than you! Back on Eggman's ship, the engines malfunction for no good reason, and the ship crashes, killing both of them, yet the Flames of Disaster are nowhere to be found. Sonic is distraught by this, but then Silver suggests using Chaos Control to go back in time to before the ship blew up and save Elise.
Yeah, here's a better idea. Why don't you just go back in time and stop all this bullshit from ever happening? Just stop Eggman from ever becoming a mad scientist. Or hell, attack his ship before he ever invaded Soliana. I don't know, just something that would make everyone's lives easier.
And encounter the worst part of Sonic's campaign. Moving on this ball while avoiding lasers or else you die instantly. No thank you, I'm just gonna skip it with the purple gem. Sonic saves Elise as the ship goes down, they almost blow up, but then laugh about it, wink at each other, and Sonic's story ends.
Well, that sucked. Are those tomatoes doing anything?
We're still going.
This is ridiculous. How are vegetables supposed to negate demon powers?
First of all, they're fruit. And second of all, is that really your biggest question in this situation?
Guys, just relax. We just gotta feel the essence.
I don't know what you're on, but I could really use some of that right now. What the hell was that?
I think it's connected. Keep rubbing.
You know what? This is dumb. I'm gonna go find a different method.
Guys, what exactly is going on up there?
Nothing. We have this under control. Just go back to the game.
You know what? I don't want to know.
You gotta get the airship and head to the forest so you can light dash over this broken bridge. I then spent 10 minutes trying to find the level, only to realize it wasn't in the castle, it was up here. How the f was I supposed to know that? Eggman runs off and Mephiles blinks them away. Boop! In the end, Mephiles blasts Shadow, but then Omega shows up saying now is the designated time.
Oh, so that's why we saw him earlier. He was literally just sitting there doing nothing for hundreds and hundreds of years, and conveniently, no one felt the need to move him.
Then Silver attacks Sonic, but Shadow intervenes, so we have to fight him again, and somehow this fight is even f***ing worse than it was last time, since there is so much space and less things for Silver to throw at you, so I swear it never happens. I was on this for 20 f***ing minutes. The only reliable strategy I found was hopping on this thing in the center, jumping away, turning around, hitting him, and then getting away at the exact right moment, because if you wait too long or don't turn before hitting the homing button, he just throws you straight up in the air, and you can't escape the next attack. Fuck Silver. Seriously, fuck Silver. After all that shit, Silver goes to punch Shadow, who slows down time, and then does this.
Oh, that was great. Can I say that again? After all the bullshit I went through, that is so cathartic.
Silver whips out his own Chaos Emerald, and their Chaos controls collide, creating a time portal. Shadow tells Silver that Mephiles is trying to eliminate the past, and they need to learn the truth about what happened 10 years ago. They hop into the time portal and end up in a lab working on the Solaris Project, which is organized by Elise's father, the Duke of Soliana. I thought he was the king. The project fails, causing a massive explosion that mortally wounds the Duke and splits Solaris into two separate forms, Iblis the Flame and Mephiles the Shadow. The two hedgehogs split up to chase down their respective foes, and the Duke gives Shadow the Scepter of Darkness. Shadow uses a Chaos Emerald to seal Mephiles inside the scepter, which explains why he recognized him at the beginning. He goes outside to find Silver, who says Iblis is sealed, and Shadow says he's going to leave the scepter because he already knows what becomes of it.
Why? If you take the scepter with you, that means Eggman won't get his hands on it, Rouge won't drop it, and Mephiles won't be released, meaning all of your problems will be solved! Why would you not take advantage of that? God, this game is f***ing stupid!
Omega relays this information, and Rouge says that even if everyone in the world turns against Shadow, they'll always be with him. Now, this would be an interesting idea that leads to a good character arc for Shadow if they actually did anything with it, but this idea of humanity turning on him is barely addressed and has no exploration whatsoever. When you knock him down, Shadow tries to reseal him, but it doesn't work since he's more powerful than before. He creates an army of clones of himself and asks why Shadow would fight for a world that will betray him. Shadow says that's just what he does, great plot resolution, and takes off his inhibitor rings, which unleashes his full power, allowing him to mow down all the clones. Would have been nice if he did that earlier, and that's it. Shadow's story just ends right there.
Okay, the tomato method clearly isn't working. We have to try something new.
Well, Lauren said he was going to try another solution, but he never came back.
Oh, yes I did.
What is that for?
I'm gonna blast that door open so it opens the portal.
Are you sure that's gonna work?
What if that makes it so he can't get out, or it sucks us in instead?
Both of those options sound much better than rubbing tomatoes on it for the next 3 hours. Fire in the hole!
There seems to be some sort of power blocking the entrance. We need to find something that can weaken it.
Didn't you say it was a pig blocking him in there?
Yeah?
I know just the thing.
I don't like the sound of that.
Meanwhile, Blaze ended up in Wave Ocean, so you go through that level as her, pretty much the same as it was with Sonic, only slightly shorter. Well, that's enough of her, back to Silver, who finds Sonic, but then Amy shows up and mistakes Silver for Sonic. Okay, I'm starting to think she's colorblind because this is the second time she's done this. Silver loses a target, so Amy apologizes and offers to help him find whoever he's looking for. I smell a dramatic sense of irony coming. This is without a doubt the worst level in the entire game. There's a ridiculous amount of enemies in here. You play as Amy, who, like I said earlier, controls even worse than Silver, and the whole thing goes on for way too long. And you know what? I'd be willing to look past all of that, but what takes this level from tedious to bullshit is this. This stupid ball is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen in a video game. You need to move it into a hole to open the door, but you can't pick it up. You have to smack it with Silver's telekinesis blast, and there's holes everywhere, which I swear this thing is magnetized to. You have basically no control over where it goes, and you can only hit it 9 times before it explodes, and you gotta retry. But sometimes the number goes down, even if you don't touch it. This puzzle is so so fucking shitty that 90% of people use a glitch where you clip through a wall to skip it, but I couldn't get that to work. So yeah, I did it legitimately. It took me half an hour to get this goddamn thing right. Fuck this ball. Fuck Silver. Fuck Sonic 06. And the worst part of all this is that they just head right back to Soliana, so this level was all just a giant waste of fucking time! Why is this game so obsessed with wasting time? They find a Chaos Emerald, so I guess it serves some purpose, and then we cut to Amy, who comes across Elise. Wow, she actually got out of her cell. I'm impressed. Though Amy still has to escort her out, so she is still useless. They go back to Soliana because they couldn't be bothered to make an actual level for this, and Amy asks Elise why she didn't want someone to save her. She says someone once told her nothing starts until you take action, and Amy suspects that Elise has feelings for this person.
Okay, game. Seriously, stop trying to push a romance between a giant cartoon hedgehog and a realistic-looking young woman. It's weird and creepy, and I don't like it. And they don't even have good chemistry if you look past that.
Amy keeps pushing her into this and wishes her luck in pursuing him. Probably best not to tell her. We then have to walk through town killing enemies for like the third time at this point, and Elise returns to the castle, where she is once again captured by Eggman. Wow, there was a bonus kidnapping we didn't even know about in Sonic's campaign. I shouldn't even be surprised at this point. We got this cutscene for the third time and fight Shadow. Again, just grab stuff and throw it into him. The next few cutscenes are just repeats from Shadow's campaign, but hey, at least we get to see the kick again. This level goes on for ages with how strong the enemies are, and god damn it, they brought back the floating ball, and you can't skip it this time. Silver finds Iblis and tries to contain it, but the Duke shows up and says that the flame was entrusted to the royal family, so he uses a Chaos Emerald to seal Iblis inside of Elise. Before he dies, he tells her unconscious body to always be brave and don't cry no matter what happens, because otherwise, Iblis will be released and the flames of disaster will destroy the world.
I'm sorry! What? You really expect me to believe that a girl with 2 dead parents and has been tasked with ruling an entire kingdom since she was a child has gone 10 full years without crying? What? Are you mad? Oh my god, this is ridiculous! Oh my god, oh, you can't be serious! You can't be serious! This has got to be the stupidest, most bullshit thing in the entire fucking game, and it only just gets worse and worse! Are you fucking I can't believe they actually thought this was a good plot point!
There is no way Elise was able to go 10 years without crying just because her dad told her to be strong. And why does he even seal Iblis inside her in the first place? To keep it under the royal family's watch? That doesn't make any fucking sense. And does it have to be tears of despair to make her cry, or is it just tears in general? Do tears of joy or reflex tears count? Imagine she hears a really funny joke or just chops up some onions and now the world is suddenly gonna end.
Oh, hello, princess. What are you up to? Oh, just making myself a salad.
And if this wasn't bad enough, Mephiles' plan is ridiculous! It turns out the reason he told Silver to kill Sonic was to make Elise cry and release Iblis so he could re-merge with him. Why didn't he just go back to when they were first separated and merge with Iblis there? Or why did he need Silver to kill Sonic? Just do it himself! Or why didn't he just kill Elise, since apparently that would release Iblis too? And again, if the heroes can time travel wherever and whenever they want, why didn't they just prevent the Solaris Project from ever happening in the first place? You can't tell me it's to preserve the sanctity of the future because changing the flow of time was Silver and Blaze's entire goal in the first place!
Sweet mother of Christ, this story is fucking terrible!
The time travel bullshit leads to more holes in this plot than an archery target, and the characters are all completely worthless! Sonic spends the whole time playing Hot Potato Princess with Eggman and has no connection to the Solaris stuff. Shadow's attempted an arc goes nowhere. Silver is a complete idiot. Tails, Rouge, and AB contribute maybe once. Knuckles does fucking nothing. Omega just shows up randomly, and Blaze is completely forgotten about for 90% of the game. This has got to be the worst storyline in any video game I have ever played, and I don't know what was going on here. Okay, I'm really starting to lose my mind, so let's just wrap this up as soon as we can. Silver meets with Shadow outside, who again leaves the scepter behind, and they return to the present. But Silver gives Elise a Chaos Emerald as a lucky charm, which explains why she had it at the beginning of the game. Only he still brought the emerald with him in Shadow's campaign because this didn't happen at that point. He returns to Soliana and finds Blaze, remember her, telling her Sonic that it isn't the Iblis trigger, and she says Elise turned herself in.
What if his ultimate objective was to release Iblis?
Wow, really? You think? This fight sucks. Can I go home now? Once he's knocked out, Silver tries to use himself as a vessel for Iblis, but he's rejected. So Blaze contributes to the story for the first time all game by offering herself instead, and tells Silver to send her to another dimension. He objects as he wouldn't know what to do without her, even though she's done basically nothing this whole time, so she just sends herself away instead. But with Iblis gone, the future looks bright, and Silver's story finally ends.
There, I beat all 3 of the main campaigns. Can you get me out of here already? Guys? Are you up there? This isn't funny! Where are you?
How is that supposed to work?
You said it was a pig that caused all this, right? And, you know, the wolf is the natural predator of pigs. So I'm thinking, we got this image of a wolf, maybe if we, you know, harass it a little bit, it'll weaken the barrier.
You know what? I'm out of ideas, and I'm gonna be honest, I kinda wanna see you try that, so go for it.
Oh, look at me. I'm such a big, hungry wolf. What's this? Is that the smell of bacon coming from this black thing that I don't know what it is because I am a wolf? Well, I tried.
Great. Well, looks like we can't do it.
What? You can't just give up?
Well, we tried everything we knew to try, so unless you have any brilliant ideas, you'd better get cozy in there and maybe invest in some real estate.
God, what the hell is with those explosions?
Guys, you might want to see this.
In other news, we received reports of powerful explosions all across the country, and each one appears to be growing in size. Several bystanders reported what appears to be a fuzzy-red pig floating through the air around the time these explosions occurred.
Fabio.
These explosions occurred around the time that several people were reported missing, with the only connection being a discarded Sonic the Hedgehog game in their home.
Oh, crap.
We were unable to capture footage of these events, but we were able to secure an interview with someone who witnessed it.
Yeah, hey Marvin. So I was just standing in the kitchen of this house when I heard a big blast coming from outside. When I went to check it out, there was a big crater in the yard.
Oh, hey! That looks just like my door. Good taste.
Did you see what caused the blast?
Well, I didn't see it happen, but I did see a small pig flying around and it seemed to be glowing black.
You know, on any other day that would seem ridiculous, but you seem to not be alone in seeing such a thing.
Well, that's good, because I just spent 2 years in prison and I don't want to end up in a psych ward.
Well, thank you, good sir, and my condolences for the damage to your front yard.
Oh, I don't live here. I just came to pick up a few things.
Well, it appears that this so-called Phantom Pig will continue his reign of terror, and nobody knows what's causing it or when it will end.
We need to deal with this thing as soon as possible.
Don't you have access to an anti-demonic satellite?
I tried that, but it didn't work. This thing is much more powerful than the stuff we fought recently.
I think I know how to stop it. In my box, there's a multicolored jewel sitting on my desk. Grab it and bring it outside.
On it.
I really hope they know how to use that thing, but in the meantime, I gotta finish what I started.
Like the earlier 3D Sonic games, beating every campaign unlocks the last story, which brings everything together. Mephiles gets the last Chaos Emerald and uses it to distract Sonic and Elise, and then he shoots a blast that impales Sonic through the chest, killing him.
Sonic f***ing dies.
This, of course, causes Elise to cry, releasing Iblis from within her. Mephiles merges with Iblis to reform Solaris and drags everyone across time into this one big distortion, except for Blaze, because f*** her, I guess. Solaris is attempting to consume and destroy all existing timelines, and Eggman says it's impossible to stop. The others disagree, and Elise senses that Sonic might be alive, but they need to go grab the scattered Chaos Emeralds to revive him, so everyone splits up to go get them. The final level, End of the World, is the same idea as the last level of Sonic Adventure 2, where it's basically a relay race between all the playable characters, except for Sonic, because he's half dead, and Blaze, because f*** her, I guess. Though unlike Adventure 2, this level is just a mashup of a bunch of earlier levels, each one with a different character. Tails goes through Crisis City, Omega goes through Flame Core, Knuckles goes through Tropical Jungle, Silver goes through Dusty Desert, because of course he does, Rouge goes through Wave Ocean, Amy goes through White Acropolis, and Shadow goes through Ruined Kingdom, because of course he does. The only difference is that now these black holes pop up that suck you in and kill you instantly. The longer you're in here, the stronger they get, so you have to touch these statues to get rid of them for a bit. This level sucks, and it goes on for ages, but I did manage to beat it. Everyone brings the emeralds back, and Elise calls out to their power to revive Sonic. And then this happens.
It doesn't matter how much time has passed. That still feels wrong on every level.
Solaris is finally destroyed and the distortion begins to reset. We then see a flashback of the Duke showing Elise a small white flame, which is apparently Solaris in its original form. Present Elise takes the flame and tells Sonic that if she blows it out, Solaris will never exist and none of this will ever happen. But this means she'll never meet Sonic, which causes her to start crying like a little bitch. Sonic tells her to just smile, which she does, and then she blows out the flame, erasing Solaris, meaning all of this never happened and the game was entirely pointless. We then cut to Soliana hosting a festival of the sun, but wait, what are they celebrating if Solaris never existed? Sonic runs by because I guess he just wanted to join the party. Elise says the wind felt familiar, and Sonic looks up at the moon as this absolute show of a plot finally comes to an end.
Oh my god, that was one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. What happened here? Genuinely. What happened here? I mean, yeah, I know this game had a rough development cycle, but still, this wasn't just some random one-off piece of crap. This was Sonic the freaking Hedgehog, and not just that, his big leap for a new generation of consoles. And they blew it. This game is an absolute disaster, and it wasn't just some one-off bump. It genuinely tainted Sonic's legacy forever. It sucks. I'm not even really mad at this point. Okay, yes I am. I am furious, but more than anything, I'm just sad that this steaming pile of garbage is now one of the first games that people think of when they hear Sonic's name. It sucks.
Got the jewel. What do we do with it?
I don't know. It doesn't matter anymore. Nothing does.
It kinda does. Your pig friend is going on a rampage across the entire country.
Yeah, well, I beat the game and nothing happened. Looks like I'm not going anywhere, so I don't really see much of a point.
Come on, you can't just give up. I've invested way too much time trying to get you out, and time is money.
There must be a way to get him to snap out of it. Wait, I got an idea. I hope this works.
Huh? What's this? Sonic Project 06? Oh yeah, I heard about this. This was a fan project done by someone called Chaos X that's apparently trying to fix the game and make it actually playable. I mean, that's a nice sentiment and all, but you know what they say, you can't polish a turd.
Just watch it.
Okay, fine. Oh, wow, this is way faster than the actual game is, so that's kind of cool, I guess. It looks a lot smoother, so I'm assuming it controls way better. Sonic more closely resembles how he was in the adventure games. The spin dash is fixed, the meter actually works, so that's good. And you can maneuver in air during the Mach speed sections, that alone makes them actually playable. Tails has his tail swipe back, and the ring bongs have a target reticle, which looks helpful. Knuckles and Rouge are getting stuck on walls all the time, and oh, hey, Rouge has the radar now for the keys, and she can attack with hand-to-hand combat. That's kind of cool. Shadow has less of an emphasis on the vehicles, so that's great. His attacks are a lot faster, and oh wow, Chaos Blast got a massive upgrade. That's awesome. Wait, you can go into first-person view with Omega? That's sick. Silver is so much faster than before. He can actually dash on the ground, and he can shoot an energy blast to stun enemies as opposed to that tiny little burst. And holy shit, they fixed the ball puzzle by adding these walls instead of some boxes. Blaze can do her fire spin for so much longer, and Amy is so much faster than before. Wow, they really fixed everyone. That's nuts. I mean, there's still some issues with the levels and stuff, but overall, this is really cool. The fact that someone was able to take Sonic 06, one of the most infamous video games ever made, and make something that's actually good out of it is really admirable. I mean, it doesn't erase the original, which is still one of the worst video games I've ever played in my life, but it is nice to see that someone was able to see the possible good it could have in it and bring that good to light.
Sweet, he's back.
Wait a minute. I think it just slid a little. The barrier is weakening.
Wait, what'd you just say?
The barrier around your PS3 is weakening.
Wait a minute. Fabio is a demon of despair. He feeds off of negative energy because it makes his power stronger. And what generates more negative energy than playing a bad video game? Playing a bad video game in a series you love! That's why he made me play the bad Sonic games. Guys, I have an idea. Go into the box and grab as many good games as you can. If we can generate enough positive energy, it might be able to break the seal. Oh, that's not good. That's really not good. I don't have the Mega Jewel. Guys, hurry!
All right, I hope this works. It's weakening. Open it up.
Now what?
The jewel! Throw it in!
Guys, any minute now would be helpful. Whew, thank God. Let's do this.
Sweet, sweet freedom. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
Yeah.
No problem.
You still owe me $50 for that pizza, and now another $6 for those tomatoes.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a sec. Right now I have some, business to take care of. Game conquered. Sonic 06 is a terrible, broken mess. It controls horribly, the hub world sucks, the level design ranges from passable enough to aggravating. It is filled with bugs and technical issues, and dear God, it has one of the worst stories in video game history. So yeah, don't play this game even if you're a diehard Sonic fan. Some people would argue it's a so bad it's good game, but for me, the anger more than outweighs that. I really did not enjoy this game, and I am never playing it again. But is it worse than Secret Rings? Honestly, I feel like that's kind of a pick your poison, since Secret Rings is a more inherently flawed design, whereas Sonic 06 has more flaws overall, and it's less functional. So I say 06 is worse, but it's very close, and it doesn't really matter. They both suck. And this also means I've officially conquered 100 games. Wow. Honestly wasn't sure I'd be able to get this far, but I'm glad I got to be what might be one of the most fascinating video games ever made, because while Sonic 06 is an absolute slog that I did not enjoy at all and would not recommend to anyone, it didn't need to be. There was potential in here, and some people, despite it constantly being beaten down and laughed at and mocked, actually wanted it to be good, to the point where people like Chaos X ended up trying to make it good. And I think that's pretty cool. Honestly, playing this game made me realize something. While there are plenty of horrible games out there, and it should be criticized for that, it's also important to see the good things about those games, and not just why it didn't work, but also, more importantly, how it could have worked. How we could have had a good game out there, and it's important to see that kind of potential. Because sometimes even the worst pieces of media can still end up inspiring great ones, be it intentionally or unintentionally. So, from now on, I'm gonna try my best to see the good in every game that I see, even the ones that I don't find as desirable or enjoyable to play.
Really? What about this one?
That gave us a great selection of memes.
And this one?
I mean, it didn't really have a good start, but it pulled its weight eventually.
And this one?
I mean, come on, that game's just hilarious.
And this one?
Okay, maybe not all of them.
The pig!
It's a lot smaller than I expected.
I don't know how you managed to escape, but it doesn't matter. All that negative energy awakened my full power. Soon, all of you will face my unbridled wrath, and the age of humanity will finally come to an end.
I'm gonna destroy you, you bastardized ham!
I think the one with a hole through your chest should be talking smack.
Oh God!
What do we do? The jewel.
What?
The jewel. Give me the jewel!
You could do that this whole time?
Can you feel life moving through your mind? Ooh, looks like it came back for more. Yeah, can you feel time slipping down your spine? Ooh, you're trying to ignore. Yeah, but you can hardly swallow. your fears and pain. When you can't help but follow, it puts you right back where you came. Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn from the works of yesterday. Live and learn, if you beg or if you borrow. Live and learn, you may never find your way. Oh, yeah. Can you feel your life tangle you up inside? Yeah, now you're face down on the floor. Oh, but you can't save your sorrow. You've paid in trade. When you can't help but follow, it puts you right back where you came. Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn from the works of yesterday. Live and learn, if you beg or if you borrow. Live and learn, you may never find your way. Oh yeah! Yeah, 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 yeah. There's a face searching far, so far and wide. There's a place where you dreamed you'd never find. Hold on to what if. Hold on to what if. Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn from the works of yesterday. Live and learn, if you beg or if you borrow. Live and learn, you may never find your way. Live and learn, hanging on the edge of tomorrow. Live and learn from the works of yesterday. Live and learn, if you beg or if you borrow. Live and learn, you may never find your way. Live and learn. Yeah, 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 yeah. Live and learn. Yeah, 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 yeah.